I was kidnapped along with Song Qian and dragged to the border between M country and L country. The kidnappers ran with us for a whole day and night, dodging every search party until we reached the border marker. Their leader was a bald man covered in scars called Chai Laowu. He stood there laughing at my fiancé Yang Yunkai, who was on the other side of the border with his soldiers. Yunkai couldn't shoot because firing across the border would start a war between two countries. Chai Laowu gave Yunkai a cruel choice. He could only save one of us. Either me, his fiancé, or Song Qian, the pregnant widow of his dead comrade's son Ingquan. I screamed and begged Yunkai to save me. We were engaged. We were supposed to get married. But Song Qian played the noble martyr, telling Yunkai to forget about her and rescue me instead, making herself look selfless in front of everyone. Chai Laowu started counting down. 3, 2, 1. And at the very last second, Yunkai chose Song Qian. My heart shattered. He didn't even hesitate for 1 second. He told me coldly that any of my family members would have made the same choice, and that since I once insisted on marrying him after he saved me from a fire, we should just call it even now. But then, as Song Qian walked past me, she leaned close to my ear and whispered the truth. She told me Yunkai loved her all along. She asked me if I knew that Chai Laowu was actually her cousin. She said Yunkai had never made mistakes before, so why was he conveniently late this one time? Because he wanted to get rid of me, so he could marry her. She called me a fool and said my powerful family was the only reason he needed such an extreme method to shake me off. I was struck by lightning inside. This whole kidnapping was staged. They planned everything together. I couldn't even scream because Chai Laowu covered my mouth and threw me to the ground. He was about to assault me, but somehow, in the chaos, the ropes on my hands loosened. I spotted the gun on his belt, grabbed it, and fired 3 shots. Chai Laowu dropped dead on top of me. I kept shooting at the other kidnappers, but I never once aimed toward my own country's side. Even though I hated Yunkai and Song Qian with everything in me, I knew my country was going through hard times. I was just an ordinary girl who couldn't do much for my nation, but I absolutely refused to cause trouble for it. Bullets hit me from every direction. With the last of my strength, I looked toward the border and saw Song Qian wrapped tightly in Yunkai's arms. My heart filled with endless sorrow. I just wanted to go home. I wondered if my mother would cry herself blind when she heard about my death. I wondered if my father would find the wine I hid for him. I wondered if my little niece would blame me for not coming back to braid her hair. Just before everything went dark, I heard someone scream my name, Liu Chu, but it was a voice I didn't recognize. I laughed bitterly to myself. Who at this desolate border would actually care whether I lived or died? Nobody. And just like that, I died pathetically, one single step away from the borderline of my own country. I wasn't willing to accept it. I truly wasn't. Yang Yunkai, Song Qian, if I ever get another chance, I swear I will make you pay with everything you have. Yuchu, stop making a fuss. Give your job to Song Qian. She needs it more than you. You're not short on money. If you keep this up, our engagement is over. I looked up at Yang Yunkai standing above me with that cold, handsome face, and everything felt familiar. These were the exact words he said on the day I passed the exam for the textile factory warehouse keeper position. But wait, didn't I die at the border? Didn't they chop my body up and feed it to dogs? I pinched myself hard. It hurt. I was reborn. More precisely, my 1970s soul merged perfectly with a soul from the 21st century. Before, my soul had been incomplete, but now, through this disaster, I became whole. And everything those people owed me, I was going to take it all back with interest. I slapped Yang Yunkai across the face. Again. And again. Yuchu, what are you doing? I won't go take your job, okay? But you can't hit Yunkai no matter what. Song Qian stood at the open doorway, eyes wide, acting all disapproving. Several people behind her pointed and whispered. I marched straight to Song Qian and slapped her across the face too. Multiple times. Liu Chu, how dare you? Yunkai grabbed my hand to stop me. The neighbors chimed in, saying things like, how can she hit a pregnant woman? And, that's the widow of her fiancé's savior. I laughed coldly. Here we go again with this act. In my last life, I gave in on everything. Big things like my job, small things like money, ration tickets, and nutrition supplements. Even the wedding quilt my mother spent ages gathering fabric and cotton to make. Yunkai gave it to Song Qian. I didn't agree at first, but Yunkai kept throwing around words like life-saving debt, and the neighbor's guilt tripped me with the same excuse, so I caved every time. But my giving in only made Yunkai push harder. At first he'd at least apologize. Later, he acted like it was his right to take from me. And Song Qian? She was a complete two-faced snake, playing the saint in public while stabbing me behind my back. Not this time. Yunkai's face turned dark. Liu Chu, you've gone too far. I'm going to teach you a lesson today. I didn't flinch. Who do you think you are? You think you have the right to discipline me? Today it's not me explaining myself to you. It's you who owes me an explanation. I'm going straight to your commanding officers. Making a scene? That's something I'm good at now. Last life, I swallowed everything to protect Yunkai's reputation. This life? To hell with that. Yunkai looked uneasy. This wasn't how I usually acted. Normally, I'd just quietly shed a few tears and then reluctantly agree to whatever he wanted. Can you stop being so dramatic? You're my fiancé. How does this help you? I slapped him again. Everyone froze. Had I lost my mind? Go ahead and hit me back if you dare. You scumbag, I shouted at him. He raised his hand but couldn't bring it down. That's when the regiment commander and the political commissar showed up. An old woman who was close with Song Qian immediately tattled. Commissar Qi, this girl beat a martyr's widow in public. You need to punish her. The commissar frowned at Song Qian's red face and started lecturing me. Comrade Li, this is too much. Don't you know? I cut him off. Hold on. Yes, a martyr's widow deserves respect. But does being a widow give her the right to steal my dowry and sleep in the same bed as my fiancé? Is that how you leaders take care of widows? If so, who would ever want to be a martyr? The man's spirit hasn't even left, and his grave is already growing green grass. My words hit like a bomb. Everyone went dizzy. A few nosy women tried to warn me that slandering a soldier and a martyr's widow was a crime. I stood tall. I have proof. If you don't believe me, go check the east bedroom right now. Open the wardrobe. Their clothes are mixed together like a married couple's, including their underwear. I also brought up my wedding quilt and bedding that my mother worked so hard to make, which were now on Song Qian's bed. The commissar tried to smooth things over, saying it was probably a misunderstanding and that Yunkai was just being loyal to his savior's memory. I turned to the regiment commander. Commander Gu, let me ask you, under what circumstances do a man's green underpants and a woman's floral underpants get stored together? Commander Gu's face twitched, but he said nothing. I wasn't expecting an answer anyway. I kicked open the east bedroom door and threw open the wardrobe. There it was, men's and women's underwear folded together neatly, not separated, but obviously mixed on purpose. One pair of floral women's underwear, then one pair of green men's underwear. Only a couple living together would do that. Everyone stared at Song Qian and Yunkai. The meaning was crystal clear. Yunkai glanced at Song Qian, then coldly turned on me. What does this prove? You're always causing drama. Who knows if you set this up yourself? Song Qian put on her righteous act. Leaders, my husband was a hero. No matter how low I sank, I would never disgrace him while his bones are barely cold. Besides, I'm carrying his child, I smirked. Oh really? Then what about this? I grabbed Song Qian and yanked off her silk scarf. There on her neck were red marks, the kind only left by a man and woman being intimate together. My God, how can a widow have those marks? People gasped. Well, isn't it obvious now? No wonder she's been wearing a scarf in the middle of summer. In my last life, Song Qian actually showed off those marks to me. But back then my incomplete soul was too naive to understand what they meant. But my 21st century self had seen plenty. My best friend had the same marks on her neck all the time. As for the underwear, Song Qian had arranged them like that on purpose to taunt me. She just hadn't had time to put things back before I came this time. But having such intimate items mixed together, those two were definitely not innocent. Yunkai froze for a second, then his face went through white, red, and black. Liu Chu, what did you do to Song Qian? You really will stop at nothing to frame her. I wasn't angry at all. Why would I argue seriously with a dog? I'm not like you, a dog who eats whatever filth he finds. Do you dare admit you spent last night in her room? I didn't. Yunkai denied it so fast it only made him look more guilty. Oh, really? Then someone broke into your savior's widow's room last night to assault her. We should let the leaders investigate properly. You're shameless. Why so nervous? Feeling guilty? I heard strange noises last night. Weird sounds like cats crying. Maybe an enemy spy was sending secret signals? Maybe someone's plotting against national interests? Commander Gu, if dangerous people can sneak into the family compound, that's a serious safety concern. Ladies, don't you all agree? Our husbands are always away on missions. We shouldn't have to live in fear. Every woman there agreed with me. No matter what their real reasons were, they all united behind me on this. Commander Gu Zekin looked at me with a deep gaze. If there's a problem, we will not let it slide. Right on cue, Song Qian fainted. How convenient. Yunkai scooped her up and started walking out. Liu Chu, if anything happens to Song Qian, I'll never forgive you. But before he took 2 steps, I grabbed a cup of tea and splashed it right in Song Qian's face. Ah! My face. Are you trying to burn me? She screamed, perfectly alert now. I shrugged. See? She's fine. Was she faking? Is she scared to say who her man was last night? Or did I hit a nerve about her real identity? Song Qian had no idea how to handle me now. She'd been using her widow status for months, playing the sweet victim, poisoning everyone against me with her fake innocent talk while taking everything I had. But now the love marks on her neck were right there for everyone to see. She had no choice but to bury herself in Yunkai's arms and cry. I didn't let up. Crying? Does that help? A woman as ugly as you crying looks like a pile of dung in an outhouse. Disgusting. Of course, Yunkai loves eating dung, so we can only admire his taste. Yunkai's knuckles cracked from clenching his fists so hard. That's enough. Do you have to be this aggressive? So you admit the noises last night were from you too? And the marks on her neck, you did that? You took care of your savior's widow all the way to the bedroom? When you two were doing that, weren't you afraid the baby in her belly, your savior's child, would hate you? Or maybe you were already together before, and Captain Sun's death wasn't an accident? I heard you used to visit his home all the time. Was that really about friendship? And the organization arranged a good place for Song Qian to go, but she refused to leave. Was it so you two could keep sneaking around? What do they call this? Playing one game in the open while running another in secret. Everyone stared with their mouths hanging open. Nobody could match me. Yunkai's face twisted. Shut up. Oh, so you're admitting it. Commander Gu, you really need to investigate these two. I heard Captain Sun never failed on a mission before. So how come he died right after Song Qian got pregnant? Could it be the baby isn't even his, and he was killed to keep the secret? Nobody could believe I dared say these things, but somehow everything I said made a strange kind of sense. Commander Gu's face turned cold. Take Yang Yunkai and Song Qian away for questioning. But I stopped them. Wait, I'm not finished. I slowly pulled out a piece of paper from my coat pocket. Here, this is an account of every penny this pair of cheaters spent of my money. The total is 2,653.39 yuan. For the wedding quilt, I don't want it back because it's been dirted, so add 30 yuan. The canned food, sausages, and other things I brought, I'll only charge 100 extra. That's not even counting my travel costs and the trouble I went through. Grand total, 2,783.39 yuan. Plus at least 500 yuan for emotional distress and damage to my reputation. Commander Gu, if these two really are guilty, who pays me back? You? Or Commissar Chi? Before anyone could recover, one auntie couldn't hold back. Li girl, aren't you just a poor country farmer? I heard even your nice clothes were taken from Yunkai's sister. Where'd you get so much money? Another added, could she be trying to blackmail them? Then again, if they really did commit adultery, she deserves compensation. Yunkai was ready to explode. Yes, he went into Song Qian's room last night, but nothing actually happened. Sure, Song Qian kept pressing herself against him and, accidentally, touched him there, but he held firm. As for the marks on her neck and the underwear, he had no idea about any of it. It must be another one of my traps. I was just as scheming as my third brother. When I saw his murderous glare, I flinched dramatically, scrunched up my face, and hid behind Commander Gu. "Commander, look at him. Is he trying to kill me to shut me up?" Yunkai caught Commander Gu's sharp warning look and didn't dare say another word. I walked back to my spot, cleared my throat, and addressed the crowd. "Since everyone's here, let me set the record straight so you all stop being used by certain people without even knowing it." Commissar Chi watched me looking like I was about to give a formal speech, and his scalp went numb. "Who's the commissar here, me or him?" He tried to interrupt, but Commander Gu stopped him. "Let her speak," I began. "Whether I'm a farmer doesn't matter. What matters is that the money was mine. My mother gave me 666 yuan as dowry. My 3 brothers and 1 sister together gave me 1,700 yuan to help me settle in. The rest I saved from working. You had a job," people gasped. I smiled bitterly. "Of course I did. But to come marry Yang Yunkai, I gave my job to his sister for free. Funny, right? I know you think I brought this on myself. But I was tricked into coming here. If Yunkai didn't love me, he could have just told me straight and canceled the engagement. I would never have clung to a man shamelessly. But he wrote me letters nonstop for 2 years saying he missed me and liked me. He happily accepted every package I sent from home. He promised in his letters that I should come so we could get married. So I packed up the wedding quilts and bedding my mother prepared, dozens of pounds of it, and traveled alone by train for over 10 days. On the way I was terrified of being kidnapped or scammed. I didn't dare eat, drink, or close my eyes to sleep. And what was waiting for me when I arrived? What was waiting for me? He treated me like a servant. I had to wash Song Qian's clothes and even prepare her foot-washing water. He kept throwing around Captain Sun's life-saving grace as an excuse. One day he'd borrow my money to give Song Qian spending cash. The next day he'd use it for her parents' medical bills. Everything I brought with me, except the clothes on my back, ended up in that so-called widow's hands. Tell me, who has been more wronged than me? I was loved and spoiled by my family my whole life. What gave these 2 cheaters the right to treat me like trash? Commissar Chi watched several women wiping away tears and thought to himself how complicated this was. He probably wished I were his political officer. My speaking skills were that good. I paused for a moment and continued. "I should tell everyone. I'm also from a military family. My grandfather was a war hero. 26 years ago, he was badly wounded in battle and could barely take care of himself. He didn't want to burden the government, so he went back to the countryside. My grandmother was basically no different from a widow. She cared for my grandfather, served her in-laws, and raised all her sons into strong men, crying until her tears dried up. My oldest brother is a regiment commander in the Northwest Military Region. He nearly died several times. Once he was stabbed over 20 times, and the doctors told the family to prepare for his funeral. But my parents never asked the government for a single cent or a single grain of rice. My brother-in-law is a naval regiment commander in the southeast. He went missing for half a year on a mission. My big sister was pregnant at the time, and everyone treated her like a widow. But she never asked the government for anything either. She just gritted her teeth and kept going. So, I don't understand. Why does Song Qian, this widow, get to take all my property and my fiancé like it's her right? Does being a widow give you a free pass to do whatever you want? When you marry a soldier, you accept the risk of becoming a widow. Just like a soldier, if you're afraid to die, don't join the army. But somehow Song Qian turned being a widow into a stepping stone for doing evil and a ticket for special privileges. Everyone's eyes went wide, except Commander Gu, who stayed calm. "Li girl, you have such a powerful family. Why didn't you ever say anything?" I looked at Yunkai. My brothers and sister earned their ranks through real blood and real fighting. There's nothing to brag about. Our whole family keeps a low profile, especially after my so-called fiancé tried to use my family's military connections. My grandfather strictly forbade us from revealing our background. An old lady snorted. "Girl, you better be careful. Who knows what he was really after when he got engaged to you? Why did you even like him?" I held nothing back. 5 years ago, when I was 15, I was playing near the forest by our village and got trapped in a fire. He pulled me out. And before that, around 1961, during the Great Famine, I collapsed on the road from hunger and nearly starved to death. He gave me half a packet of biscuits. A man who saved me twice. Is it so strange I fell for him? But I've already repaid every bit of that kindness. 2 years ago, his younger brother went swimming in dangerous rapids and almost drowned. I jumped in and saved him. The town even gave me a 10 yuan reward. Last year, his sister got cornered by thugs who nearly assaulted her. My third brother and I risked our lives to rescue her. I still have a scar on my back. And this year, I gave my job to his sister for free. My parents were so grateful for his 2 rescues that they helped his family for years. When other families couldn't even eat white flour, his family had meat dumplings every few days. When his mother was in the hospital, all his relatives pretended not to know. It was my mother and I who took turns caring for her. Honestly, there are way too many things to list. The whole compound erupted. This guy's basically a modern chinshimi, a total heartless traitor. At least the girl paid him back. Otherwise, he'd hold that debt over her forever. So the Yang family was basically being raised by the Li family this whole time. I want to cry for this girl. I looked straight at Yunkai. Everything I just said. Is any of it wrong? Is any of it exaggerated? If you don't want to admit it, fine. I kept every letter from the 2 years since we got engaged at 18. The government can examine them all. Yunkai's face looked terrible. He nodded slightly. He didn't deny it. I slapped him again. So, all the suffering I went through after coming here, you're going to pay me back for that. Song Qian completely froze. She didn't even dare lift her head. I grabbed her hair. Everything you swallowed that was mine, you're going to spit it all back out. Song Qian, Yang Yunkai, this is just the beginning. I'm going to make your lives a living hell. The commissar listened to my well-organized arguments and watched me throw slaps without hesitation. My fighting power was on another level. Even the old ladies couldn't match me, and even a grown man like him couldn't stomach what Yunkai had done. He always thought Yunkai was hardworking and ambitious. What a disappointment. I turned to Commander Gu. Leaders, I've said everything I need to say. So, who's paying me back? Give me a straight answer. Commander Gu didn't answer right away. He looked into my eyes with a complicated expression I couldn't read. But it passed quickly. Whether or not he committed a crime, he has to return your money. I wasn't convinced. He has no money. As far as I know, he sends everything home. That's why he had to use my money to support his mistress. Commissar Chi quickly corrected me. Comradely, until the investigation is complete, don't make wild accusations. I switched tactics. Then are you paying me, Commissar? You. Commander Gu looked down at me and said slowly, word by word, it will be deducted from his salary and allowances. He only makes a few dozen yuan a month. How many years would that take? How about this? You guarantee that if he can't pay it all within 1 year, you'll pay it for him. I was planning to destroy Yunkai completely. If he died or went to prison, who would pay me back? There's no precedent for that. Fine. Then I'll collect all their savings books and ration tickets right now. That's not illegal, right? It's not illegal, but you can't take more than what's on your list. Deal. Everyone here is my witness. You won't go back on your word later, find some excuse to arrest me, and accuse me of stealing private property, right? It wasn't that I was paranoid. I truly didn't know this, Commander Gu. In my last life, I was only here for 3 months total, and he was away on missions for over 2.5 of those months. He wasn't around when I was kidnapped, but he failed to keep his people in line. That was his fault. By my math, he shared some blame for my miserable death. I won't. Everyone was stunned by our exchange. Commander Gu was known as a man of his word. How could this girl not trust him? I didn't care what anyone thought. I started tearing through every drawer and cabinet. After about 15 minutes, I held up what I found. These 2 cheapskates have a grand total of about 20 yuan between them. So, what do you all have to say? Yunkai's eyes went wide. That's impossible. I had a savings book. Song Qian suddenly came back to life too. I also had a savings book and several hundred yuan in cash. How can it be gone? Both of them stared at me. Did you hide our money? I walked over and slapped them each across the face. Open your dog eyes. This many people are watching, including Commander Gu and Commissar Chi. You think I could pull off some magic trick right under their noses? If I were that clever, would I have let you two scam me in the first place? I stood straight with nothing to hide. Any two women here can search me if they want. See if I'm hiding anything. Honestly, everyone had been watching me the whole time. There was no way I could have done anything sneaky. So I slapped Yun Kai again. You spent all my money, and now you're trying to frame me? If you had money, why were you always borrowing mine? And Song Qian, aren't you a martyr's widow? Where's your husband's death benefits? Where are the government subsidies? Don't tell me you took it all and hid it at your parents' house. Song Qian's face went white.
Impossible.
That benefits savings book, I put it in the cabinet. How can it be gone? But no matter how sincere she sounded, nobody believed her anymore. Minutes ago, she claimed she was innocent, and then the love marks on her neck appeared. Why would anyone trust her about a savings book no one had seen? I turned to Commander Gu and Commissar Chi. Leaders, you both saw they have no money. So, let's do what you said and deduct it from their wages. But I'm begging you to investigate properly and get at least some of it back. I don't even have money for a train ticket home in a few days. Right now I can only afford one bowl of plain rice porridge a day. Commander Gu frowned. The organization will take care of you. Just when everyone thought the show was over, I raised another issue. Leaders, Yang Yunkai deceived me and played with my feelings. He's been carrying on with another woman. Whether or not he has other problems, shouldn't he be punished? Commander Gu glanced at Yunkai and Song Qian. Of course, I smiled sweetly.
Good.
Then Song Qian should also be punished, right? Commander Gu paused and chose his words carefully. After the investigation, we'll see. I scoffed. Just because she's a widow? Why should that matter? Her situation exists because you failed to do your jobs properly. The government has rules about how widows get compensated. But you let her move into my and Yunkai's wedding quarters. Do you arrange things like this for every widow? Because if so, every woman here should hope her husband dies, so she can do whatever she wants in the compound. What a great deal. Commander Gu's face stiffened. I will give you a proper answer. I corrected him.
Wrong.
It's not about giving me an answer. It's about giving an answer to every person in this compound who's been wronged like me. Commissar Chi's head was spinning. This girl used to seem so gentle and nice. When did she turn into a little firecracker? Don't worry, comradely. We will absolutely give you justice. I checked the clock on the wall. August 16th, 1974. Please make it quick. Commander Gu, Commissar Chi, I'm getting my justice no matter what. Commander Gu gave me one last deep look, then left with his people. Once I locked the door, my hands were shaking with excitement. In an instant, I disappeared from the spot. After my soul fully merged, the special space I couldn't access before finally opened up to me. The moment I entered, 3 savings books and a stack of cash and ration tickets were right in front of me. That's right, Yunkai and Song Qian weren't lying. This was their money. I had taken it. The 3 savings books totaled over 9,000 yuan. The biggest one had 4,000. That had to be Captain Sun's death benefit money. When I got the chance, I'd send it to Captain Sun's parents. But I would never let it go back to Song Qian. The loose cash added up to nearly 400 or 500 more. I was rich. I looked around my space. It wasn't just storage. It had magical spirit spring water and fertile land, plus a massive multi-story shopping mall from the 21st century. The best part was that everything inside was super intelligent. With just a thought, I could control anything. Crops and fruit trees watered and harvested themselves automatically. The space could move 30 meters in any direction, and I could see everything happening outside from within it. With something this overpowered, I was basically invincible. I looked in the mirror. My face was still gorgeous, fair skin, delicate features, absolutely beautiful.
Perfect.
I stuffed myself with a huge meal inside the space and drank some spirit spring water. Then I changed into a slightly worn, faded white dress and put on light makeup to make myself look pale and sickly. Time to put on a show.
Why?
Because I didn't trust Commander Gu and Commissar Chi to actually follow through. They'd probably just mediate back and forth and maybe lock Yunkai up for a few days. As for Song Qian's cousin Chai Lao, they might not uncover that connection anytime soon. Song Qian had hidden it too well. But I couldn't wait. I needed to see those two punished. I needed to create public pressure and file complaints that crossed military boundaries. I knew from my past life that when the army didn't solve problems fast enough, going outside the chain of command always worked. And I had the connections to do it. My oldest brother was an army regiment commander, but more importantly, his wife was in the Air Force, and her father was an Air Force general. My big sister was just a regular clerk, but her husband was a fiercely protective Navy regiment commander. This complaint was happening, and I was absolutely going to win. "Lee girl, where are you going looking like that? Poor thing, your eyes are all swollen from crying." I wiped my tears. "Auntie Zhou, I'm going to call my parents. This wedding is off. I refuse to eat this half-cooked rice." Auntie Zhou sighed. "Who could blame you? With your background, you could have your pick of any young man." I shook my head hard. "I can't think about that now. I just want to go home." I thought I was 1,000 times better than Song Qian, but Yunkai still couldn't stay faithful. I'll never trust a man again. Within minutes, the whole compound was buzzing that I'd been so traumatized I was now afraid of men and marriage. Some people even started rumors that I was thinking about killing myself. I went to the town post office during peak hours when the most people were around. Perfect for what I had planned. I sprayed some tear-inducing solution on my face and quickly became the center of attention. A growing crowd leaned in to listen as I cried into the phone. "Sister-in-law, that bastard Yang Yunkai slept with some widow named Song last night. All my money and ration tickets are gone. I don't even have dinner tonight." Then I called my brother-in-law. "It's me, Choo-Choo. Tell my sister I might never see her again. I'm being bullied to death here. These two cheaters set traps for me everywhere. Life in the compound is impossible. Even the dogs would rather bite me than them. Big brother, I regret everything. I shouldn't have trusted that heartless Yang Yunkai. I shouldn't have ignored your warnings and insisted on liking him. He treats me like a servant. Mom and Dad never even let me do chores at home, but here he makes me do the dirtiest, hardest work, even carrying foot-washing water for his pregnant mistress. Brother, am I going to die here?" By the time I walked out of the post office, my eyes were swollen like lanterns. Everyone stared at me with pity. A few middle-aged women wiped their tears. They could tell just by looking, some lovesick girl who'd traveled far to marry and now had nowhere to turn. And my dress with oil stains and food spots made it obvious I'd been worked hard. "Girl, where are these two cheaters from?" someone asked. I covered my mouth and let the tears pour. "The woman is from this town, a widow surnamed Song, lives on the west side. The man has a special job. I'm not allowed to say. People told me it would look bad." Some men got impatient. "You're practically being abused to death and you're worried about appearances? Go make trouble with their leaders. Get your money and go home." I thought to myself, I don't just want money. I want their lives. Their leaders said at first it was a misunderstanding. And then what? I stopped talking because I accidentally spotted Commander Guzekon standing at the entrance in plain clothes, watching my brilliant performance with a blank face. His expression seemed to say, "Go on, keep going." My confidence wavered. I covered my face and pushed through the crowd, running out crying. The people left behind cursed Yunkai and Song Qian every which way. The guard Xiaoyu standing next to Commander Gu didn't dare look at his boss's face. After leaving the post office, I washed my face and headed to my only friend in this place, Zhang Li's house. We met by chance and hit it off right away. We often went shopping at the supply store together. We both took the textile factory exam. I scored first, she scored second, so the warehouse keeper job went to me.
But now I was going to sell that job to Zhang Li.
Yunkai wanted Song Qian to take my position. He could dream about eating farts. Even that wouldn't taste as good as he imagined. "Choo-Choo, what happened to you?" Zhang Li asked, worried at the sight of me. "Lily, do you have time? Let's go to the textile factory." "Why?" "I want to sell you my job." "Do you want it?" Zhang Li couldn't believe it. "What?" "Choo-Choo, did something happen? Tell me. If I can help, I absolutely will." I told her about Yunkai sleeping with Song Qian and stealing my money. She jumped up immediately. That bastard. Let's go find his leaders right now. I held her arm. I already did. They promised to handle it. Lily, I'm going home in a few days. I won't need the job. Just give me whatever you can for travel money. Zhongli called her parents over. They were thrilled, but insisted on being fair. Choo-choo. Thank you for giving Lily this chance. But we won't take advantage of you.
How about 800 yuan? I shook my head.
That's way too much. You're my friend's family. 500 is plenty. Before I came here, someone had offered 600 yuan to buy my steel factory job back home. I didn't sell it. I gave it to Yunkai's sister for free. She didn't even say thank you. She just took it like she was entitled to her future sister-in-law's bootlicking. Zhang Li's father split the difference. How about 600, plus I'll throw in some ration tickets. I smiled.
Deal.
Thank you, uncle. An hour later, we all went to factory director Lu's house. I brought some malted milk powder and biscuits. Zhang Li's father prepared them, saying you can't show up empty-handed when asking a favor. Director Lu was confused at first, but I got straight to the point. Uncle Lu, I'm going home. I want to transfer my position to Zhang Li. His elderly mother hobbled out on her cane. Little Chu, you're just leaving? Not getting married. Looking at the kind old woman's face, I thought of my own grandmother waiting for me at home, and my eyes burned. Grandma Lu, the wedding is off. He has another woman. That scoundrel. My Chu-Chu is so wonderful. Is he blind or stupid? Director Lu saw my mind was made up. He wrote up the paperwork on the spot and told Zhang Li to report to the office tomorrow. Meanwhile, my phone calls were setting off explosions across the military. At the Air Force Deputy Commander's office, my sister-in-law's father was practically gleeful.
What?
Something like this happened? Last meeting, the Army commander was crying about how hard his troops work. Now they have enough energy to sleep with widows? I want to see them explain this. At the Eastern Navy Command Center, my big sister and her husband showed up right after a meeting ended. My brother-in-law reported formally to the senior officers. My sister-in-law was mistreated in the Southwest. Her fiancé, a deputy battalion commander, slept with a martyr's widow and stole all her money. We request justice. The naval generals were instantly furious.
What?
Treating our family members like this, do they have some grudge against the Navy? Tell us everything. If we can't solve it, we'll go straight to the top commander. In the Northwest Military Region, my big brother's superiors reacted the same way. Last time the Southwest bragged about how their missions are tougher than ours and their soldiers haven't had leave in years. Turns out they're not too busy. They're just spending their time fooling around. I'm demanding justice for our family member right now. After all that, Zhang Li's family insisted I stay for dinner. I ate with them and slowly walked back to the compound as it got dark. Comrade Li, Commander Gu, and the Commissar want to see you. I looked at Commander Gu's guard Xiao Yu and couldn't help smiling. You seem to have a problem with me. The poor guy practically shouted. No, absolutely not. You are an honored guest. I strolled toward the office, taking my sweet time. Apparently my phone calls had worked beautifully. Since that afternoon, Commander Gu had received dozens of calls, from division commanders, army commanders, even generals from other branches. The Navy and Air Force had come down on them at the same time. I'd basically taken the Army's face and stomped it into the ground. Xiao Yu said he'd never seen anyone make the Commissar and Commander Gu this angry in all his years of service. The Commissar was pacing back and forth like a wind-up toy. Commander Gu, a man who never smiled, had been so angry he actually laughed several times. Before I even reached the door, I heard Commander Gu on the phone. Please rest assured, I will handle this matter properly. I won't let our comrades or this young lady down. Still getting bombarded? Huh?
Good.
This was just the beginning. The whole military world would be laughing at them for years to come. And honestly, it would only be a joke. It wouldn't actually hurt Commander Gu's career. But I died horribly in my last life because of Yang Yunkai's mess. And Song Qian worked with that criminal to kidnap me. Did anyone care about my pain and despair then? Commander Gu failed to manage his people. Making him lose a little face was nothing.
Comrade Li.
Come in, please sit. Do you want sugar water or tea? Is it hot? Let me fan you. I looked at Commissar Chi falling all over himself to be nice, and almost laughed out loud. Commissar, you're being so warm. It's actually scaring me. Commander Gu raised an eyebrow. Her? Scared? Her guts were bigger than the sky itself. Commander Gu, did you call me here to pay back Yang Yunkai's debts? He clenched his jaw and pushed a savings book across the desk.
Here.
This morning there were too many people watching. I couldn't set that kind of precedent. My eyes lit up when I saw the amount. Wow, you leaders really are generous, willing to help repay so much money. No wonder the widow doesn't want to leave. The young soldier nearby looked like he wanted to strangle himself. He desperately wanted to laugh, but also felt wronged on his leader's behalf. I flipped through the book. Wait, this amount is wrong. There's an extra 1,000. Is this hush money? Don't worry, I won't go around telling people that Deputy Battalion Commander Yang slept with his savior's widow. I understand it looks bad. Even Commander Gu had to take a deep breath at that one. You said you wanted compensation for emotional distress. The extra money is exactly that. I stuffed the savings book into my bag, thrilled. I was a little rich woman now. Maybe I should go rob Song Qian's family next. Then I could sit on a pile of money while eating dinner. But before I could celebrate, Commander Gu called out, "Come in." Soldiers brought in food for dishes, a soup, and a whole roast chicken. I couldn't believe my eyes. In this era, most families went an entire year without seeing a drop of oil, let alone a roast chicken. Commander Gu flashed me a quick smile that was so handsome, it dazzled me. How had I never noticed before how attractive this man was? In the 21st century, he'd be a total heartthrob. But the smile vanished instantly. Comrade Liu Chu, I heard you can't even afford dinner. This is all for you. Please help yourself. I blinked. No thanks. Skipping meals is healthy. No, it's not. You need to eat plenty so you'll have more energy for your next crying phone call. Damn it. He was waiting to catch me. I'd already stuffed myself at Zhang Li's house. There was no way I could eat more. Can I take it home? No. Watching you eat is my assignment. I tried to wriggle out of it. My clothes are too shabby for eating in such a serious office. It wouldn't look right. Commander Gu frowned.
You're right about that.
But don't worry. He pulled a bag from a cabinet. The leadership heard you're starving, penniless, and dressed like a beggar. That's what the whole town is saying. So here, this is also part of your compensation. Go change. I looked in the bag. A light blue dress, actually really pretty, my favorite color. Commander Gu, are you this nice to every victim? That's not your concern. Either change your clothes or sit down and eat. We're watching you until you're full. I'm really not hungry. Yes, you are. I snapped, slamming my hand on the table. Gu's second. You're doing this on purpose. This is revenge. He looked genuinely puzzled. Why would I take revenge? I'm correcting my own mistakes. Money, clothes, food. Aren't these all things you desperately need? Commissar Chi saw we were about to start fighting and jumped in. Literally, he's just a stubborn blockhead. Too rigid. Don't stoop to his level. How about you take everything home to eat? Don't be mad. And silently, he was thinking, most importantly, please stop making phone calls to complain. Suddenly, I felt genuinely wronged. My eyes turned red. These grown men were ganging up on a helpless girl like me? I yelled at Commissar Chi. You shut up. Then I unloaded on Commander Gu. Gu-Zekin, don't you dare try to protect Yang Yunkai and that widow. Do you have any idea what I've been through? I called my brothers and sisters, so what? I was suffering and being bullied. Was I supposed to just take it quietly? I traveled 1,000 miles alone to get married, with nobody to lean on. My fiancé betrayed me. Song Qian sabotaged me over and over. They stole all my money. Every single person in the compound accused me of being unreasonable for not taking care of the precious widow. I'm more wronged than the most wronged person in history. Can I even complain to my own family? This happened because you didn't manage your people properly and didn't enforce the rules. And now you want to blame me? Are you even a man? I hate this place. I cried and wiped my tears. If you don't give me justice, I'm not leaving. Wherever you go, I'll follow. Even to the bathroom. And I'll keep calling my sister-in-law's father to file complaints with the Navy against you. Commissar Chi stood there looking like his head might explode. It was the first time anyone had pointed at his and Commander Gu's noses and yelled at them, and the worst part was, everything I said was true. What's all this about? Little Chu, we never said we wouldn't give you justice. Song Qian. We had already arranged a proper place for her, but Yang Yunkai insisted on bringing her here. And we absolutely will not protect him. I rolled my eyes at Commander Gu. I don't believe you. Yunkai clearly did wrong, but you keep making excuses for him. Song Qian clearly has problems, but all you talk about is taking care of the widow. If that's how it works, every man should just divorce his wife and marry a widow. That's nonsense. Commander Gu nearly choked on his own breath. I grabbed my bag, shot him one last look, and walked out. There were plenty of places to file complaints. I wasn't scared. I hadn't broken any law or made anything up. Yunkai himself admitted they slept in the same room, and everyone heard it. After I stormed out, the room went silent. Commissar Chi looked at Commander Gu. Zekin, the girl's been through a lot. Don't be too hard on her. Commander Gu told Xiaoyu to deliver the food and clothes to me. When Xiaoyu came back, Commander Gu asked, "What did she say?" She said, "Thank you." Commander Gu turned to look at him. "Tell the truth. Did she curse at me again?" Xiaoyu paused.
She said.
"Don't think these little favors can bribe her. Her willpower is iron strong, and she won't be corrupted by sugar-coated bullets. And don't even think about being vague with the justice she's owed." Commander Gu almost laughed from anger. What a handful. Compared to how I used to be, my temper had gotten so much worse. Poor Xiaoyu felt sorry for his commander. Commander Gu had been away on a mission when I arrived. He only got back yesterday, and today this enormous pot of blame landed right on his head. And then Xiaoyu saw something shocking. Commander Gu was smoking. He must have been pushed to his absolute limit. Xiaoyu thought to himself, "Thank goodness these two aren't dating. A woman like me could drive a saint insane." My mouth ran nonstop with twisted logic that somehow nobody could argue against. If he ever married someone like me, his mother would die of anger 8 times a day. Were all pretty women this impossible to deal with? Then someone came to report. "Commander, Deputy Battalion Commander Yang is demanding to see you. He says he's been wronged. He also says to please take good care of Song Qian." Commander Gu's voice was cold. His own fiancé was bullied to that extent, and he still has the mood to worry about someone else. Ignore him. Keep him locked up. But Commander Gu knew that despite my dramatics, what I said might very well be true. He asked if the person sent to investigate Song Qian's background had returned. They hadn't, which meant there was definitely something suspicious, because that investigator was experienced and should have reported back within a day. Commander Gu gave orders to release Song Qian through proper channels, but have people follow her secretly. Then he told his trusted man to spread a rumor that I had a huge fight with him and that he was protecting Yunkai and the widow. He was setting a trap. Smart man. Later, alone in his office, Commander Gu leaned back in his chair. A mocking, bitter look crossed his face. "Life-saving grace," he muttered in the dark, clearly thinking about something deeper. After a long silence, he picked up the phone and called my oldest brother, then my brother-in-law, apologizing to each of them. He said everything was his fault for failing to manage things properly, and he promised to give me a complete and honest resolution. My family's fierce protectiveness in these dangerous times showed just how much they truly loved me. I slept like a baby that night and didn't wake up until past 10 the next morning. I was just about to eat when I heard Song Qian being brought back. Her eyes flashed with smugness, but she quickly put on her act. "Yuchu, I told him everything. There really is nothing between Yunkai and me. I know you don't like me, so I'll pack up and leave right away." Several women who were friendly with her started making snide remarks. "Why should you leave? The one who should leave is someone else. The government wouldn't wrongly accuse a good person. Some people just rely on their powerful family to twist the truth." She even filed complaints against our unit. Song Qian pretended to defend me. "Don't talk about Chuchu like that. She's young. We should be patient with her." One of her friends piled on. "She's like a rotten mouse ruining a whole pot of soup. Good thing Deputy Commander Yang didn't marry her, or we'd all suffer." Song Qian put on her righteous face. "Don't say that. Chuchu is a good girl, pretty as a painting. She deserves any man she wants." "Huh? A pretty shell with nothing inside. Only useless men would want her. Deadbeats and thugs. I watched their little performance without flinching. Who didn't brush their teeth this morning? It stinks. I walked right up to Song Qian. How did you explain those marks on your neck? Whatever nonsense comes out of your mouth, don't forget you owe me money. Commander Gu personally promised that yesterday, then I turned to her little gang. You 3 followers got plenty of benefits from her, didn't you? Let's see. Auntie Lu, those shoes you're wearing are the ones Song Qian threw away because they hurt her feet, but you told everyone they were new. Annie Tang, that blouse of yours was worn by Song Qian's mother until someone slapped her and called it bad luck, so she tossed it. And oh yes, Auntie Song, last time I saw Song Qian batting her eyelashes at your husband, being all flirty. Don't believe me? Go check your husband's clothes for a handkerchief with a plum blossom pattern. Then you'll know. Their faces all went ugly, but they stuck their necks out and shouted, "Stop trying to turn us against each other." I nodded earnestly. Right. You're all such good friends. So close and loving. In that case, why don't you pay back the money Song Qian owes me first? I remember Song Qian shared plenty of snacks with you. All, even the sausages I brought from home. Since I have no food to eat now, how about you pay me back with some food first? Their faces froze. Giving anything back would hurt them more than cutting off their own flesh. You're making things up. I have to go. My baby's diapers need washing. Bye. I watched them run away like scared rats. What a bunch of cowards. I followed Song Qian into her room. A moment later, everyone heard her screaming and furniture crashing. The noise was so loud that all the neighbors came running. When they saw what happened, they all swallowed hard and looked at me with fear in their eyes. A tall wardrobe had toppled over towards Song Qian. They were wondering just how strong I was. Song Qian was genuinely terrified. That 2-meter cabinet nearly crushed her. Between the shock and spending the last day and night worried sick, she couldn't catch her breath and actually fainted. I clapped my hands. Everyone stepped back. Fainting is no big deal. Watch this. I grabbed the slop bucket and poured the contents right onto Song Qian's face.
Ah.
She woke up screaming.
See?
All better. Someone said I went too far. Li girl, have some mercy. She's pregnant with. I cut her off. Captain Sun's child, right? Listen, Grandma. Given how she flirts with every man around, who can actually be sure it's Captain Sun's baby? I heard there's technology in Beijing now that can test a baby's parents even before birth. Let's use that. Besides, I didn't touch her. I didn't hit her. She fainted on her own, and she should thank me for waking her up. The old woman frowned. It must all be a misunderstanding. Otherwise, why would they release her? I looked at the women around me. I sure hope the next man who has this kind of misunderstanding with her isn't your husband. I've seen with my own eyes how your men treat her. Carrying her water, bringing her meals, one even delivered peach cookies to her. But don't worry, it's all just misunderstandings. She's a widow after all. As long as nobody catches them actually doing it in bed, everything's just a misunderstanding, right? Every face in that crowd turned ugly. What I said was rough but true. Their husbands really were being way too nice to Song Qian, always saving her the best food. If this kept going, who knew what would happen? I rolled my eyes and went back to my room. I needed to get to the bank and withdraw the money from the savings book Commander Gu gave me. What if he pulled some trick and took it back? At first I felt a tiny bit guilty because I'd already secretly taken Yun Kai and Song Qian's money into my space. But after seeing Commander Gu release Song Qian like nothing happened, guilty my foot. He was clearly protecting those 2 cheaters. Good thing I never had high hopes for him. I had my secret space. Once I got evidence connecting Song Qian to her cousin Chai Laowu, I'd hand it over through cross-military channels. Then we'd see who'd be embarrassed. But first, I needed to withdraw everything from all those savings books and store the cash safely in my space. Nowhere was as reliable as that. Li girl, where are you going? I rolled my eyes. Mind your own business. I was never coming back to this awful place anyway. Why should I be polite to these gossips? That girl has such a bad temper. Don't provoke her. I heard even Commander Gu is facing punishment because of her. She's like everyone's nightmare. Whoever crosses her ends up miserable. Let's just pray she leaves soon. I actually felt proud hearing that. That's right, if you're not happy about it, come fight me. I strolled toward town. The scenery was nice, the weather was comfortable. I was a bit hungry, but that was no problem. I pulled a big steamed bun out of my space and ate it happily as I walked. Soon I heard a car behind me. Comradely, please get in. It was Commander Goo's guard. I looked back and saw Commander Goo sitting inside, expressionless, reading some documents. Just seeing him made me angry. How did someone this clueless become a commander? No thanks. I turned around and kept walking, chomping on my bun. The car crawled along behind me at my pace. Whatever. The road was for walking and driving. If they wanted to follow me like a turtle, that was their problem. Get in the car. Commander Goo's voice this time. I pretended I couldn't hear. He wasn't my boss. Who was he to order me around? Li Yuchu, get in the car. He called several more times. I completely ignored him. Xiaoyu was sweating for me. Commander Goo was the kind of man who could take on 10 trained enemy agents at once. Did I have any idea how close I was to getting strangled? Commander Goo's patience was nearly gone. But what could he do? He couldn't hit me. He couldn't out-argue me. He took a deep breath, stopped the car, and got out himself. I looked at the tall man standing in front of me and rolled my eyes.
What?
Don't tell me you want the savings book back. Not a chance.
No.
You're going to the bank, right? It's on my way. Let's ride together. How do you know I'm going to the bank? He gave me a knowing half-smile. What do you think? I turned my head away. At least he was self-aware enough to know I didn't trust him. I don't need your help. I have legs. And I'm not a widow. I don't need special treatment. Every time I said that word, I could see the vein on his temple throb. He told me later that in his 27 years of life, he'd never met anyone who could be so petty and hold such a grudge. Talk properly. Yes, sir. Please give your instructions, Commander. He was completely out of moves. I'm going to the city. Want to come? Part of me was tempted, but I had my pride. I'd seen every skyscraper the 21st century had to offer. I could skip this trip. Really not coming. No. And stop trying to change the subject. You protecting those two cheaters. We're not done with that. He softened his tone and looked at my animated little face. I can explain. And I have questions about Yang Yunkai that involve you too. Can you cooperate a little? My eyes spun around suspiciously. What questions? You're trying to interrogate me? I'm telling you right now. I can withstand any investigation. Don't even think about turning this around on me. His eyebrow twitched. Who was turning things around on whom? He hadn't gotten a single piece of useful information from me. He'd spent his own money, gotten yelled at and insulted, and become the laughingstock of the entire military. And somehow I was the victim in all of this. About those 2 life-saving debts you mentioned, don't you want to know the truth? What? Of all the things I expected him to say, this wasn't one of them. Could there be something wrong with the story? But how would Commander Goo know about it? What do you mean? He glanced at the big steamed bun in my hand. I'll treat you to braised pork for lunch. Hey, don't leave me hanging like that. I'll explain on the way. Get in the car. I jumped in so fast you'd think I was afraid of being left behind. Xiaoyu watched in awe through the mirror. His commander had tamed me without even raising a hand. Before I even sat properly, I asked, "What did you mean back there?" Commander Goo looked me over. I was wearing the new blue dress he bought me. No makeup, but still. Gorgeous. A watch on my wrist that you could only buy in Beijing or Shanghai, white leather shoes, a pretty bag, and grease from a giant meat bun all over my lips. This was the girl who claimed she was starving, penniless, and dressed like a beggar? I could feel his gaze seeing right through me. It made my skin crawl. Why are you staring? Ever heard of being a gentleman? No wonder he was still single at his age. What kind of woman would marry someone this blunt? I was thick-skinned, and even I couldn't take it. The girls in this era were all shy and reserved. He didn't stand a chance. The dress fits well, he said. I lifted my chin proudly. When you're born beautiful, everything looks good. It's called natural beauty. Xiaoyu coughed softly. I whipped around. Are you laughing at me? Guzeckin, I'm filing a complaint. Your people are mocking me. And you and the commissar really need to fix the culture here. Between the cheating and the bullying, This place is a mess. Commander Gu rubbed his forehead.
Sit properly.
Move to the window side, as if I'd want to sit close to you. If you dealt with that bastard Yang and that witch Song Qian earlier, I wouldn't spend one extra minute in this place. Watch your language. Young ladies shouldn't curse. You're telling me what to do? Spend that energy managing your people instead. They're the ones causing trouble. Xiao Yu drove like a robot, not daring to say a single word. Through the mirror, he could see Commander Gu looking completely drained. Finally, Commander Gu asked directly, "You have a problem with me personally? I thought about my last life, how I died so horribly. Yunkai didn't choose me, and not a single one of Commander Gu's soldiers spoke up for me either. How could I not resent them? I understood their reasoning. Anyone would have chosen the pregnant martyr's widow. But that didn't make it hurt less. Yunkai and Song Qian had conspired to get rid of me. But the others? I had no grudge against them, and they still let me die. Yes. Why? I swallowed the bitterness in my throat. Didn't you say you had questions about Yunkai saving my life twice? He didn't push me further. He went along with my change of topic. Are you sure the person who gave you biscuits and saved you from the fire was Yang Yunkai? I didn't answer right away. I thought back carefully. In 1961, I was only 7 years old. I was so hungry I could barely move a finger. My soul was incomplete back then, so my awareness was fuzzy. I never actually saw the person's face. I just knew it was a tall, older boy. The reason I thought it was Yunkai was because the next day he was eating biscuits in the village that looked exactly like the ones I'd been given. He came from the same direction the tall boy had gone. And he was tall too. When I thanked him, he panicked and told me never to mention it again. He said his mother would beat him and demand the food back. In those famine days, food was more precious than life itself. So I stayed quiet. I secretly soaked that half packet of biscuits in water and shared it with my whole family. That's the only reason we didn't starve to death when people in our village were dying of hunger left and right. Years later, when life got better, I finally told everyone that Yunkai had saved us. My whole family was grateful to him ever since. 5 years ago, during the forest fire, I was so terrified I lost all sense. Then the smoke knocked me out. Again, I never saw the rescuer's face. I just vaguely knew it was the same tall boy, because I felt safe in his arms, not scared at all. When I woke up, everyone told me Yunkai had saved me. They all saw him carry me out of the flames, looking roughed up but heroic. After that, I gave him all my girlish love and admiration. When I turned 18 and he came home on leave, we got engaged. That was 2 years ago. I was now 20, and Yunkai was 25. But now, with my soul complete and my mind sharp, something felt very wrong. In 1961, everyone was starving. Yunkai's family was one of the poorest in the village. How could he possibly have had those expensive biscuits? And in the fire, right before I blacked out, I clearly heard the person who saved me groaning in pain, like he'd been hit by a falling branch. But afterward, Yunkai didn't have a single scratch on him. The whole village praised him for the incredible skills he must have learned in the army. The more I thought about it, the colder my heart became. Had I been thanking the wrong person all along? If so, Yang Yunkai truly deserved to die. Commander Gu watched my expression change and asked carefully, "Did you figure something out?" It took me a long time to steady myself. "Gu Zekin, why are you asking me about this?" His tone was calm. When I interrogated him last night, his story had contradictions, especially about saving you. That's why I wanted to confirm with you. Of course, if you think I'm overstepping, I can drop it. After all, those things happened before he joined the army. I grabbed his sleeve.
No.
You have to ask. I'll answer everything honestly. Let's see just how different his story is from mine. He glanced at my hand, gripping his arm. Thank you for cooperating. A person's character matters. Even if something happened before enlistment, once it's discovered, there will be serious consequences. My eyes turned red. At least right now, Gu Zekin seemed like a truly good person. Okay, I'll tell you everything from the beginning. I told Commander Gu every detail about both incidents, the times, the places, my condition, how Yunkai reacted afterward, and all the holes I just now noticed. I held nothing back. He looked into my eyes. Why didn't you notice these problems before? I bit my lip. I don't know if you'll believe me, but yesterday my brain suddenly felt clear. For the past 20 years, it felt like something was blocking my mind. Otherwise, how could I have let them bully me for 2 whole months before fighting back? He nodded.
I see.
Shall you go to the hospital first? Then he turned to me gently. Let me take you for a checkup. You probably bumped your head as a kid and it only just fully healed. I shook my head. No need. I know my own body. But he insisted. Listen to me. Don't make a fuss, or I'll drag you there by force. I looked at his serious face.
Fine.
But you're paying. And are you testing whether I'm lying? He sighed. Do you have paranoid delusions? At the hospital, the doctor told Commander Gu that my brain scan showed some old blockage that hadn't fully cleared until recently. It matched what I described. When we came out, Commander Gu said, you must have been quite the troublemaker as a kid. Lucky you. I wanted to snap back at him, but he'd been genuinely kind, so I held my tongue. Though honestly, I knew my situation wasn't really a physical injury. It was my soul being split between two worlds, only becoming whole when both versions died. But the medical explanation was blockage and the mystical explanation was incomplete soul. Either way, what mattered was this. I was me. Nobody had taken over my body. I had money, looks, and a magical space. I'd be fine anywhere. Scared now, he teased, noticing my slightly pale face. I looked at this tall, solid man. Guzeckin, don't you have things to do? Go be busy. I didn't feel like attacking him anymore. If he hadn't raised those questions, I'd still be living in a fog.
No Rus.
I promised you braised pork. Let's eat first. I smiled sweetly. Great. But I want 2 portions, one for lunch and one to take home for dinner. My space kept everything at perfect temperature, so nothing would ever spoil. Xiaoyu trailed behind us, bursting with unspoken thoughts. When had the commander interrogated Yunkai?
He didn't know about that.
And at the hospital, people had mistaken us for husband and wife. He even heard someone whisper about how older husbands spoil young wives. The way I kept pushing for more, anyone would think Commander Gu was a doting husband. In reality, the commander was just terrified I'd file more complaints.
Poor man.
At the restaurant, I asked, can we also order a fish and 2 pounds of pork dumplings? Sure, order whatever you want. He pulled out a big bill and some ration tickets. I grinned from ear to ear. Men who pay for food are always the most handsome. If he were just a little softer, women would be lining up to marry him. In my last life, I'd heard a girl from the performing arts troupe confess to him, and he scolded her so badly, she cried for days. He showed zero interest in women. His family once chased him hundreds of miles trying to set him up on a blind date, and he sent them home angry.
Was he gay?
Or did he have some kind of physical problem? At his age, even if his mind wasn't interested, his body should be. There must be something he couldn't talk about.
Poor guy.
Guzeckin, this braised pork is amazing. Rich, but not greasy. Good. I'll bring you again next time. Maybe. Once Yunkai gets his punishment, I'm going home. Xiaoyu's face visibly relaxed. This was the best news he'd heard. Better than the braised pork in his mouth. Commander Gu's chopsticks paused. You sold your job, obviously. The wedding's off. Why would I stay here alone for no reason? That's just asking for suffering. What's your plan when you go back? I perked up. I'm going to be the village boss. Xiaoyu choked on his dumpling soup. I looked at him smugly. Guzeckin, this one's not very steady. You should replace him. Commander Gu glanced over. 200 push-ups when we get back. Yes, sir. I grinned triumphantly. What are you laughing at? I used to be the village beauty. Now that my brain works, I'm upgrading to village boss. I'll lead my crew, rob the rich, help the poor. Commander Gu looked away like he couldn't bear to watch. Even food can't shut your mouth. Don't talk nonsense. Do you know what era this is? I casually ate the braised pork he put on my plate. I'm serious. I want to lead everyone to prosperity. You've never been to my hometown. The scenery is beautiful. There are tons of natural resources. It's just all been wasted until now. I sighed. Who knows if we'll ever see each other again. If you visit someday, I'll take you up the mountain to catch rabbits and down to the river to catch fish. He just gave a quiet and said nothing else. I didn't really expect him to come. The man was from Beijing with a wealthy family. Why would he travel thousands of miles to catch rabbits in our little village? Later, he dropped me off at the bank. The post office is here, the bookstore is over there. After the bank, wait for me at the bookstore. I'll be back in half an hour. I rolled my eyes at his motherly instructions. I know. I'm not a child. He tried to scare me into behaving. There's a dangerous criminal gang operating around here. Many families have already been hit. Stay put. Be good, and when I come back, I'll take you to the department store. My mind raced. That gang. Could it be Chai Lao's crew from my last life? If I could find their trail. Did you hear what I said? Yes, with Commander Gu around today, I shouldn't do anything rash. I'd come back on my own in a few days and try my luck. I went to the post office first and called my brother and sister. Big brother, Gu Zekin prepared lots of food for me. Don't worry. He even bought me a dress and paid back the money that bastard Yunkai stole. Sister-in-law, everyone in the compound is being super polite to me now. They're terrified I'll file more complaints. Brother-in-law, I just had braised pork. Gu Zekin packed extra portions for me to take home. Don't worry, I have money, clothes, everything I need. I'll be heading home in a few days. Sister, I beat that shameless widow Song Qian so badly she wet herself from fear. Don't worry, I didn't lose. Then I called my parents. Mom, I'm not getting married. My mother paused for a second, then laughed happily. Wonderful. When are you coming home? Your father, your grandparents, and I miss you so much we can barely eat. My nose stung with emotion. Mom, I'll be home within a month at most. And stop all help to Yang Yunkai's family. He slept with another woman and lied to me. Those 2 times he supposedly saved my life, he stole credit for what someone else did. My mother's voice shot up 100 levels. What? That bastard dared to trick us? I'm going over there right now to smash his house. I quickly stopped her. Mom, don't. Wait for me to come back and do it myself. I'm also going to take back all the jobs we gave his family. Fine. But do you have money for the trip home? I'll call your brothers and sister to contact the military leaders. Your father, and I can come get you tomorrow, just like my mom, thinking exactly like me. Mom, relax. Once Yunkai's punishment comes down, I'll come home on my own. The leaders here are treating me well. I even slapped Yunkai across the face and he didn't dare hit back. That's my girl. I'll get people ready. When you come home, we'll march straight to the Yang house. Mom, you're the best. I'll cook you something delicious when I get back. My daughter is the sweetest. Your brothers are all useless compared to you. Of course, I'm your little cotton jacket. Oh, and Mom, don't say anything about Yunkai faking the rescues yet. I don't know if the leaders have other plans. We'll talk when I get home. Okay, I'll listen to you. My girl has really grown up. We both cried for several minutes before hanging up. Then I went to the bank and withdrew every cent from the savings books. Nowhere in this world was safer than my space. Except for Captain Sun Eong's death benefits. No matter how greedy I was, I couldn't pocket that kind of money. After that, I wandered into the bookstore. Honestly, the selection was boring. Any halfway decent novels were banned in this era. They did sell high school textbooks, which I'd need for later, but I couldn't buy them now. Too heavy to carry, and if I put them in my space and accidentally let something slip in front of Commander Gu, he'd get suspicious. So I just bought a few political study books to keep up appearances. Commander Gu came back right on time. He glanced at the books in my hand. Good attitude. I felt like he was mocking me, but his face was completely straight, and I had no proof. You're done already. Small matter. Let's go. I'll take you shopping. I looked at his handsome, chiseled face. Gu Zekin, what are you buying me? I'm not easy to brush off. If you try, I'll cry on the phone again. He shook his head helplessly. How old are you? 20. The prime of my life. Beautiful as a flower. Don't be jealous. Can I be envious instead? I didn't expect him to joke back. You're much more human today than yesterday. You don't seem afraid of me at all. Why would I be? You're not a flood or a wild beast. I haven't done anything wrong. You've got 2 eyes and 1 mouth just like me. What's to fear? Xiao Yu glanced back at me. Hadn't done anything wrong? Commander Gu had been outstanding since he enlisted, respected by superiors and subordinates, practically never made a mistake. Then I showed up and destroyed his reputation with a few phone calls. And I called that nothing wrong? If I were a man, I'd probably already be beaten black and blue. Poor Commander, swallowing all this humiliation. At the market, I was like a kid in a candy store. Guzeken, these pastries look delicious. We don't have these back home. Are they a local specialty? Buy 2 pounds then. That's too much, what a waste. But can I try a few different kinds? Sure. Don't eat too much though. You'll ruin your appetite for dinner. Ooh, I want these melon seeds too. We don't have this flavor back home. Fine, wrap them all up. And this pickled vegetable, is that fern? It smells amazing. Buy a few jars. Come back for more when you finish. I smiled my sweetest, most obedient smile. This man was like a walking ATM, so easy to use. Filing cross-military complaints was definitely the right move. It made Commander Gu do whatever I wanted. I'd use this strategy again next time. He also bought me powdered milk and 2 jars of canned fruit. The saleswoman covered her mouth and giggled. Little sister, your boyfriend really spoils you. I've never seen a man this generous and patient. I shook my head frantically. No, miss, he's my brother. My real brother. She apologized for the misunderstanding, but after we left, she was still wondering. Were they really siblings? The way that man looked at the girl was definitely not innocent. He frowned whenever anyone else even glanced at her. Obvious possessiveness. She'd heard of brothers and sisters with inappropriate relationships. Had she just witnessed one? What a shame, though. If they weren't related, they'd be the most beautiful couple anyone had ever seen. Guzeken, why did you bring me here? To buy clothes. You just bought me this dress. You need something to change into. Well, thank you then. What woman in any era doesn't love beautiful clothes? Sure, compared to what I had in my space from the 21st century, these were plain. But for this time period, they were practically luxury. Commander Gu picked out a pair of black leather shoes to go with a goose yellow dress. Does it look good? He stared at me for a moment, slightly dazed. With my fair skin, the yellow dress made me look like jade. The fitted waist made me appear even more slender.
It's fine. I pouted.
What kind of review? Was fine? I looked amazing. How much? I asked. The dress is 50 yuan. The shoes are 20. Plus 2 fabric coupons and 1 shoe coupon. My eyes went wide. That expensive? The saleswoman nodded eagerly. Of course. This is the only one in the city, imported from Shanghai. The shoes are genuine leather inside and out. Look how gorgeous you are in it. Your boyfriend couldn't take his eyes off you. It's worth every penny. She could tell at a glance that we could afford it and that he truly spoiled me. This dress had been hanging for 2 months with no buyers. Now that someone who could actually pay had walked in, she wasn't letting us leave without it. He's not my boyfriend. And it's too expensive. Can you give a discount? Even with my 21st century mind, I was still a 1970s girl at heart. At my old steel factory job, I made 26 yuan a month plus 1 soap coupon. Rice cost 15 cents a pound. Flour cost 10 cents. An egg was 5 cents. In our village, marrying a wife cost 30 yuan in bride price, 20 pounds of fine grain, and 30 pounds of coarse grain, and that was considered extravagant. And here I was about to wear clothes that cost this much? It wasn't that I couldn't accept the gift. I just felt a little embarrassed. After all, Commander Gu was only being this nice because of the situation, not because he actually cared. And if word got out about him spending this much on me, would it cause problems for my brothers and sisters? While I was still hesitating, he'd already handed over the money and tickets. Then he looked down at me. Want to look at anything else? You said you don't have a blanket. We could find some fabric and have one of the women in the compound sew you a thin one. I shook my head quickly. No need. I have something to cover myself with. Besides, I'll be going home soon, no point wasting more. He didn't push it. Guzeken, relax. I just called my brother, sister-in-law, sister and brother-in-law. I didn't say anything bad about you. I actually praised you. So don't worry, I won't file any more complaints against you. I understood the principle. When someone feeds you and gives you things, you keep your mouth shut. Back in the car, I opened the pastries and started eating, giving little reviews between bites. Guzeken, Is this stuff from public funds or your own pocket? Xiao Yu's face twitched. The nerve of me to even ask. Commander Gu paused, then let out a short laugh. Shut up. Oh, right, sensitive topic in any era. A few minutes later, I couldn't help myself again. Guzekin, doesn't it feel stuffy when nobody talks? Guzekin, try this one, it's sweet with a little kick of spice. So good. He didn't respond, so I held the pastry right up to his mouth. Just try it. He glanced at my fingers holding the pastry. Sit over there. By the window. Just eat one piece first. No. Xiao Yu, here, you try one. Xiao Yu checked the rearview mirror. Something told him not to accept. I'm allergic to pastries. Thank you, Comrade Li. Oh well. Guzekin, Xiao Yu can't eat them, so you have to try. Don't let him miss out alone. Xiao Yu was sure Commander Gu, a tough military man, would never accept food from a girl's fingers. But he did. He actually ate it. Poor Xiao Yu nearly crashed the car from shock. The commander really was sacrificing everything for the mission. He was silently begging the heavens for me to go home soon. After that, the car was filled with nothing but my crunching and munching for 30 minutes straight. It drove Xiao Yu crazy. Then, finally, silence. He peeked back and saw I'd fallen asleep. Thank heavens, the world was peaceful at last. My head was bobbing left and right as I dozed. Without realizing it, I leaned against Commander Gu's shoulder and my arms wrapped around his arm, looking for something safe to hold on to. He looked at my sleeping face for a moment, then gently pushed me to the other side, propping me up against the door and the seat corner, so I was half sitting, half lying comfortably. Careful not to wake me. Xiao Yu relaxed. Good, the commander had principles. If I'd woken up and accused him of being improper, the man's career would have been truly finished. Commander Gu shot Xiao Yu a cold look. Eyes on the road. Yes, sir. Commander, she's too much trouble. We should send her home as soon as possible. Commander Gu ignored him. Drive slower. I'm going to rest my eyes too. He hadn't slept at all the night before. He hadn't felt tired until he watched me sleeping so peacefully. Then the drowsiness hit him too. What I didn't know, what I wouldn't learn until much later, was that Commander Gu had been secretly investigating Captain Sun Yong's death for a long time. His people had confirmed through countless analyses that Captain Sun's death was no accident. Someone had deliberately caused it. And the only person who had the opportunity, who knew the exact mission details, who was both Sun Yong's partner and subordinate, was Yang Yunkai. After Sun Yong died, Yunkai put on a perfect performance of grief. Nobody suspected him, but Commander Gu had quietly assigned his most trusted people to dig deeper. He couldn't go public because it would shake the entire unit's morale, especially since Yunkai was about to be promoted to battalion commander as a hero. His investigators had also noticed something strange about a soldier named Zhang Jiefeng, the man who'd been secretly positioned at a high vantage point during that mission, an assignment known only to the division commander, Commander Gu, and one other person. Zhang Jiefeng seemed to want to tell Song Qian something, but always held back. Then came the most damning discovery. Hidden in a pile of rocks just 2 meters from where Captain Sun's body was found, they discovered his final message, proof that Yunkai had betrayed him. Commander Gu's fury was barely contained. His trusted men were seething too. These were soldiers who would give their lives for each other. Yunkai's betrayal was unforgivable. But the case was too big to act on rashly. Commander Gu decided to report it to his superiors personally and handle it through special channels.
He'd also been worrying about me.
He knew that if Yunkai was exposed as a traitor who murdered a loyal comrade, I could be dragged down with him. In this chaotic era, the fiancé of such a man could be paraded through the streets in a dunce cap and publicly humiliated.
He wanted to protect me from that.
And buried somewhere in his thoughts, though he'd never say it out loud, if there was truly no other way to shield me, he'd marry me himself. He rushed back to the compound that night with his team. But the moment his car pulled through the gates, Deputy Commander Fu came running toward him with a look of panic. Zekin, you're finally back. Something terrible has happened. Commander Gu was having a dream in the car. I didn't know what it was about, but he was drenched in sweat, brows furrowed like he was fighting for his life. I shook him awake. Gu Zekin. Hey, wake up. His eyes flew open and my face was right in front of him. He looked confused for a moment, like he didn't know where he was. I teased him. What were you dreaming about? You looked like you were on a battlefield. Don't tell me you're holding a grudge about my complaints. He stared at me with this intense focus, then said quietly, I dreamed about you. I nearly spit out my soda.
See?
I knew it. You resent me so much I'm even haunting your dreams. Am I really that terrifying to you? When neither Xiao Yu nor I expected a response, Commander Gu said 2 words. You scared me. Xiao Yu was dying trying not to laugh. And I got offended. What's that supposed to mean? I'm the village beauty, a certified gorgeous woman. How did I become some kind of monster in your mind? You owe me compensation. He looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite read, softer than usual. What kind of compensation? Since you're offering, I won't refuse.
But I don't need anything right now.
I'll save it for later. Deal? Deal. See, you can be reasonable when you try. Don't worry, when I get home, I'll set you up with a beautiful girl. You'll thank me forever. You should get out of the car now. And stop eating so many snacks. I nodded casually, grabbed all my bags, and hopped out. About you releasing Song Qian. I'll trust you this once. But I'm still waiting for my justice. What I didn't know at the time was what had really been going on inside Commander Gu's head, both in that dream and in his investigation. In the dream, he'd seen something terrifying. Song Qian and I were kidnapped together, dragged toward the border. Yunkai had gone after us, but sent no word for a full day. Commander Gu had taken the most dangerous shortcut through mountains full of venomous snakes and wild animals to try to intercept the kidnappers before we crossed the border. He told himself that he had already saved me twice before. If he rescued me a 3rd time, maybe heaven was giving them a sign. He decided that when he got back, he'd tell me that if Yunkai truly couldn't treat me right, he could marry me himself. Because he really didn't dislike me. Not at all. The dream shook him badly, because it felt so real. But what happened next in reality was even more disturbing. The moment he got back to his office, the man he'd sent to investigate Song Qian returned with a massive discovery. Song Qian's family home had a secret underground tunnel. It ran from her father's room all the way to Song Qian's room, then out to a small forest on the edge of town. The investigator had gone to Song Qian's parents' house and found the front gate locked tight in broad daylight. Strange behavior in a neighborhood where everyone ate dinner on their doorsteps. He'd snuck in and caught Song Qian's father climbing out of the tunnel, muttering about children and goods. Down in the tunnel, he found rooms carved into the walls. One was filled with gold and silver jewelry, some of it clearly already moved out. Another held antique paintings and calligraphy by famous masters. Most horrifying of all, one piece was a well-known burial artifact from a king's tomb. Other rooms were packed floor to ceiling with grain. The tunnel ended near a suspicious house that turned out to be the old residence of a deceased hunter named Old Qiu. And Old Qiu had a notorious adopted son, Chai Laowu, the most feared criminal in the region. When Commander Gu heard that name, his heart nearly stopped. Chai Laowu, the same man from his dream, the man who had taken me. When I got back to the compound with all my shopping bags, the neighbors were sitting outside gossiping. Li girl, I thought you had no money. How'd you buy all that stuff? I looked at their nosy faces. Mind your own business. Did you eat too much salt or do you live by the ocean? I rolled my eyes and walked into the yard. Song Qian came out looking like the perfect housewife. Choo-choo, you're back. You must be hungry. I cooked dinner for you. I put my bags down and slapped her hand away. Still putting on an act? The neighbors jumped in immediately. Li girl, why do you just hit people without thinking? Song Qian doesn't even blame you for ruining her reputation, and she made you food out of kindness. You're so ungrateful. I laughed coldly. You idiots. She's playing you like fools. I turned to the crowd. Since you're all so curious, come see what she cooked for me. Come on, don't be shy. Song Qian's eyes flickered with calculation. Choo-choo, I already promised to leave tomorrow. Stop acting like a child. Come eat. I didn't let her touch me. I kicked open the kitchen door. Come look at what this two-faced woman left for me. In my previous life, Song Qian would do the same thing, leave nothing but scraps in the pot while telling everyone I was the one stealing her food. The old ladies crowded around and looked in the pot. This is the dinner she left for you? She said it was noodles. This looks like pig slop. Song Qian rushed to explain. No, I really did make noodles. She actually had left real noodles this time. But it didn't matter. I'd already made sure they were gone. I turned on the waterworks. See, grandmas and aunties? You saw with your own eyes. No matter how capable I am, I couldn't have made cooked noodles disappear while you were all watching. This has been happening every single day. She eats until she's full, while I don't even get soup. She lounges around while I scrub floors and do chores. But outside, everyone says I'm lazy and difficult. If I'm really so terrible, then explain how she got so plump while I've gotten so thin since I arrived here. Dead silence. Several soldiers stood at the gate, having heard everything. Song Qian spoke weakly. Choo-choo, I was just exhausted and confused. Don't take it to heart. I'll cook for you right now. I dodged her touch. What if she suddenly grabbed her belly and accused me of hurting her baby? No thanks. I think I'll call my brother-in-law instead and ask how the Navy's food is. Then I'll check with my sister-in-law whether Air Force families ever end up drinking pig slop. Everyone's heads were spinning. One of the soldiers stepped forward to block me, looking annoyed but trying to hide it. Comradely, there must be a misunderstanding. Sister Song Qian is heavily pregnant. It's normal to be a little confused. I almost laughed. How convenient. 3 of these soldiers were the exact same men who'd supported Yun Kai in choosing Song Qian over me at the border in my last life. Of course, they were always on her side. You dare block me? Are you planning to use violence on me? Or kill me to shut me up? One of them, a deputy platoon leader named Niu Jian, spoke harshly. Li Yuchu, respect is given by others, but shame is something you bring on yourself. A girl shouldn't be this dramatic. I remembered him well. Niu Jian, you're a single man. What are you doing in the family compound? Are you also here to comfort Song Qian because she's afraid of thunder? Be careful. Don't leave any more marks. Last time she had to blame mosquitoes. He looked like he wanted to strangle me. Shut up. Stop spitting blood. Sister Song Qian was framed by you. Framed? Are you a pig? There's slop in the pot, and you can't see it? Your precious dream sister-in-law told me to come eat it. In your eyes, am I only good enough to drink pig slop? Well, you're still wrong for being so vicious to her. She's a widow. I'd had enough. Go get your leaders. All of them. I want to know if dumping slop into my food pot is an honored military tradition. Because right now my treatment is worse than a pig's. I pointed at everyone and spoke word by word. I can take losses, but I will never silently swallow them again. Even if every single one of you sides with her and blames me, I'm not afraid. I need every person here to know I am not a pushover. Stop coming at me like I'm someone you can step on. Right on cue, Song Qian covered her mouth, tears flowing beautifully.
I'm sorry.
It's all my fault. Yom is gone. I should just take his child and end it all. She lunged toward the wall to bash her head against it. The soldiers rushed to grab her. Niu Jian rolled up his sleeves. Li Yuchu, you've gone too far. Today I'm teaching you a lesson. I didn't flinch. I looked at him with pure contempt. Beating up a defenseless girl, that'll really make you a military hero. He ground his teeth. Even if I get discharged, I'm going to smash your face. Bullying a martyr's widow. I'm in the right no matter where we go. He actually lunged at me. The others held him back. Niu Jian calmed down. Don't be stupid. I gave him one last disdainful look. Brainless fool. You. No wonder Deputy Commander Yang hates you. Nobody stop me. I'm going to kill her. You dare? I'll have you shot first. Commander Gu's ice-cold voice cut through everything. Everyone froze. Commander Gu had never spoken that harshly before. Commissar Chi was with him, looking like he was about to cry. Comradely, can you please give us a moment's peace? Even in actual warfare, there's time to catch your breath. I spun around and charged toward Commander Gu, flailing my arms. Gu Zekin, they're all bullying me. Look, these blind idiots all saw it. Song Qian tried to feed me pig slop. I need to make phone calls. Commander Gu and the others had already seen what was in the pot. They wisely ignored my calling people blind idiots. The commissar kept a straight face and said firmly, Song Qian, you will leave the family compound tomorrow. Your death, benefits, and job placement were arranged by the organization long ago. You moved back here without authorization. That's already against the rules. Commissar Qi told Song Qian firmly. Niu Jian panicked. Commissar, Commander, Sister Song Qian is carrying Captain Sun's child. The job the organization arranged isn't suitable for a pregnant woman. Liu Chu just passed the textile factory exam. Make her give it up. Captain Sun died saving Yang Yunkai, so as his fiancé, she should repay that debt. I actually laughed at his twisted logic. Commissar Qi, is this how your people think? I really need to tell my sister-in-law about this. The commissar's face looked like he was constipated. All I ever did was threaten to file complaints. Did they have no shame? Niu Jian, you don't get a say here. First, apologize to Comrade Li. Then all of you will stand on the training field for 24 hours straight and each write a 5,000-word self-criticism. Then he turned to Song Qian with a serious face. Song Qian, Captain Sun sacrificed himself for Yang Yunkai, but the organization already gave you the maximum compensation allowed. If you have other requests, you can apply through proper channels. But you cannot stay here any longer. There are countless widows in this country. If they all behaved like you, everything would fall apart. I couldn't help clapping and jumping. Commissar Qi, well said. I'm giving you a thumbs up. Nobody knew what thumbs up meant, but nobody wanted to ask. They were all afraid that one wrong word would trigger another round of phone calls from me. Everyone was thinking the same thing. This girl needed to be sent home just as badly as Song Qian. Way too much trouble. Just as people started to leave, Song Qian wobbled and went pale. Oh no, my stomach hurts. I reacted instantly. Commissar, she definitely doesn't want to leave. She's probably going to accuse you of scaring her. Will you please shut up, you little terror? I wanted to push her buttons until she dropped her act, but Commander Gu lightly touched my arm. Right, he said he had a plan. I'd trust him once more. Commander Gu looked at Song Qian bent over in pain. Someone take her to the hospital. Make sure she gets a complete examination. Song Qian's back straightened slightly. Oh, that's too much trouble. Xiao Yu is your personal guard. It wouldn't be appropriate. A bright, confident female voice came from the shadows. Sister Song Qian, don't worry. I'll accompany you the entire time. I looked at the woman who appeared and then immediately looked at Commander Gu. In my last life, everyone said this woman, Su Hui, had a special relationship with Commander Gu. If he ever decided to marry, she'd be his first choice. After everyone left, Commander Gu was still standing there. I need you to come to my office later. Someone walking past thought to themselves, if Commander Gu wanted to deal with me, he didn't need to be so polite about it. He could just kick me across the yard. I looked at all my shopping bags. I haven't eaten yet. Want to join me? He shook his head. He knew that a single man eating dinner alone with a young girl, someone else's fiancé, no less, wasn't appropriate.
Fine.
Give me 30 minutes. After he left, Auntie Zhou rushed over and whispered, Little Chu, stop being so confrontational. Commander Gu won't go easy on you just because you're a girl. If he tries to hit you, beg for mercy, okay? I swallowed nervously. Auntie Zhou, are you serious? Of course. Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused him? You humiliated him in front of the entire military. Be careful. I have to go. Back in my room, I opened the braised pork and fish, but suddenly nothing tasted good. What did Commander Gu want?
Was he really going to hit me?
I knocked on his office door. Come in. I opened the door as wide as possible and mentally mapped my escape route. He watched my strange behavior. What's wrong? Why are you standing in the doorway? I inched forward in tiny steps and struck first. I'm telling you, she started it. You can't blame me, he sighed. That's not what I called you about. I immediately came back to life, much bolder now. Then what? Are you giving me another savings book? Is this Niu Jian's compensation for scaring my fragile heart? He was almost impressed by my ridiculous logic. It's a bit early to be dreaming. Have you eaten? I shook my head.
No.
I was too scared you'd beat me. Lost my appetite. He pointed at my mouth. Could you wipe the oil and cookie crumbs off your lips before saying that? Oops. Busted. I wiped my mouth with my fingers and rubbed my chin for good measure. Clean enough? Instead of answering, he asked quietly, did Song Qian always treat you like that before? His sudden gentleness made my heart sting a little. I nodded softly.
Yeah.
My brain wasn't working right before, so she'd twist everything and make me look bad. Everyone always misunderstood me. But it doesn't matter. I don't care anymore. Now that I'm clear-headed, anyone who tries to bully me will regret it. Commander Gu lowered his head and gave a quiet but his voice sounded strangely heavy. Then his tone shifted. Yesterday, why did you say Captain Sun's death was suspicious? Do you know the consequences of making baseless accusations? I stood up quickly. I was just making logical guesses. They say the person who understands you best is your enemy. Song Qian and I hate each other, so naturally, I pay more attention to her than anyone else does. So, what did you find? My eyes lit up. Are you trying to get information out of me? Is there really something fishy going on? His expression didn't change. Your imagination is impressive. I knew he wouldn't tell me the truth. But I didn't push. He had his rules, and I understood. I walked over, closed the door, leaned across the desk toward him, and said in a low voice, Gu Zekin, what if I told you she has connections to enemy agents? Would you believe me? Whether Chai Lao was technically an enemy spy or just a criminal didn't matter to me. If calling Song Qian a spy sympathizer would destroy her, I'd call her anything. We stared at each other in silence for a long moment. Then Commander Gu pushed my head away. Back up. I was too close, apparently. It was making him uncomfortable. I figured he was worried about people getting the wrong idea, especially that Su Hui woman. Those two clearly had something going on. That's why Commander Gu was so good at buying things for girls. He had practice. I couldn't help imagining a dramatic love story. Commander Gu's family didn't approve of Su Hui, so he stubbornly refused all blind dates and wouldn't marry anyone else. The two of them quietly devoted themselves to each other from a distance. True love. How romantic. Commander Gu looked at me sitting there quietly with a strange expression, and I could tell it was making him uneasy. He probably knew I was thinking something weird. Keep talking. About what? He rubbed the bridge of his nose. About what you discovered. If I tell you, do I get a reward? Yes. Depends on how valuable your information is. I put on my friendliest face. Don't worry, fair prices, no cheating, satisfaction guaranteed. He sighed from somewhere deep in his soul. Can you just talk now? Song Qian has a cousin, goes by something like Old Five. Do you know him? Not sure which one. I know several people called Old Five. That made sense. In this era, people's names were lazy. Old One, Old Two, all the way to Old Eight. Do you know one called Chai Lao? Bald head, lots of scars on his face. Commander Gu finally looked up at me. How do you know about him? Promise you won't laugh. When I first arrived at the compound, I was already suspicious of Yun Kai and Song Qian. So I secretly followed her. That wasn't exactly true. But I was absolutely certain Chai Lao and Song Qian were connected, and that was enough. Anything else? He asked. I know I keep saying it, but Song Qian definitely has a secret man. Whether it's Yun Kai or someone else, please don't go easy on her. He looked at my dead serious face. Relax. I promised you justice, and you'll get it. But stop going out and causing trouble. It's not safe outside. I found the loophole in his words immediately. So does that mean I can cause trouble inside? He looked at me, cracking my knuckles, ready for action, and his scalp probably went numb. Don't twist my words. I'm not twisting anything. Great minds think alike. You should head back. I'll have Xiaoyu. He stopped mid-sentence, remembering Xiaoyu had gone to the hospital with Song Qian. I grinned admiringly. Xiaoyu has really leveled up. He can clone himself now. Your people are truly impressive, Commander. He actually laughed out loud. You really are. Silver-tongued. Why not call me a wise woman who knows when to pick her battles? He shook his head, smiling. I can't out-talk you. Let's go, I'll walk you back. Can I use you as a shield to scare people? I said I'd watch you walk back. From here. About half an hour after I left, Commander Gu got an update. Song Qian was fine. The doctor had done a full examination. Su Hui was watching her overnight, and she'd be sent to her parents' house first thing in the morning. Then Commander Gu ordered an immediate interrogation of Yang Yunkai. What I learned later about that interrogation made my blood boil. Yunkai was dragged out of his cell and immediately started acting innocent. "Commander, Commissar, I'm wrongly accused. Song Qian, and I have nothing going on. It's all Liu Chu making up lies." He actually thought he could talk his way out. Here's what was really going on inside his rotten head. He liked me, or rather, he liked my family's connections. But after years of my relatives never pulling strings for his career, he'd grown resentful. Compared to peers like Commander Gu, who was only 2 years older but already a full regiment commander, Yunkai was stuck as a lowly deputy battalion commander. He blamed me for that. On top of that, he thought I had no feminine charm. Not gentle enough, wouldn't let him touch me, wouldn't even let him hold my hand. And I was too bossy back in our hometown where my family's status meant his mother and sister had to listen to us. In his twisted mind, I was so hopelessly in love with him that I'd never actually break our engagement. He figured if he pushed me hard enough, my grandfather, the war hero he called half-dead, would personally come begging and use his connections to fast-track Yunkai's career. Commissar Chi slammed his pen on the table. A man with a fiancé, openly spending the night in another woman's room. "Are you a pig?" Yunkai tried to redirect. It was just because she was scared of thunder. I was protecting my savior's pregnant widow. My fiancé just likes to make drama. She's always picking fights with any woman near me. "I'll discipline her better in the future." One of the senior officers frowned. "If you hadn't done anything wrong, would your fiancé react this way? Didn't you realize bringing Song Qian into your home would upset her?" Then Yunkai played what he thought was his trump card. He laid out my entire family's military background. My grandfather the war hero, my regiment commander brother, my Air Force sister-in-law, my Navy brother-in-law, my sister, my second brother in local government, my uncle the police chief, my uncle the village leader. He said my family would all understand the duty to care for a widow. He said I was just a spoiled youngest daughter with low political awareness. He graciously offered to educate me as their future son-in-law. Then he actually had the nerve to suggest, if possible, please put her in solitary confinement for a few days and give her strict ideological re-education. Otherwise she'll cause bigger problems. I'm sure even her own family would agree. He expected applause. He expected everyone to praise his magnanimity and vision. But every face in that room was stone cold. Nobody said a word. And that's when it should have dawned on him that something was very, very wrong. The next morning I got dressed up nice and cheerful. I had a lunch date at Director Liu's house, and I was looking forward to it. While getting ready, I found a thick cloth bundle I'd forgotten to put in my space. Inside was 300 yuan and dozens of ration tickets, including rare ones for a watch, a bicycle, and a sewing machine. My mother had given me all of this secretly, making me swear to keep it as hidden money. She said never tell anyone how much you really have, not even your husband. Thank goodness that even when my soul was incomplete, I'd listened to my mother. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to afford food or a ticket home. Looking around the kitchen, I realized everything there was bought with my money. White flour, rice, millet, meat, eggs, oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar. Even the toilet paper and soap were mine. I'd been paying for everything while those two freeloaded off me. I started packing it all up. Take it all. I wasn't leaving Yang Yunkai a single thing. I couldn't touch the furniture or pots and pans though. Those belonged to the military. Making army property vanish was no joke. But before I left for good, I'd sell or throw away everything else. That idiot wouldn't get to enjoy any of it. Little Chu going out? Yep. Going to check if Song Qian is dead yet. Everyone stared at me. I didn't even try to hide it. Too bold? Deal with it. I rolled my eyes, smoothed out my new dress, and walked away swaying my hips like a model. Every wife and grandmother in the compound couldn't take their eyes off me. After I left, they started whispering. With her family background and looks like a painting, why does she cling to Deputy Commander Yang? Did you see that dress? I saw it in the city. Over 50 yuan plus 2 fabric coupons. Girls were drooling over it, but nobody could afford it. She said Yunkai took all her money, so who bought it? Who knows? When a woman is that pretty, men line up to spend money on her. Some fool probably bought it. What I didn't know was that while I was heading to Director Lu's house, Commander Gu was busy with important business. He called a soldier named Zhang Jiefeng out of training. Zhang Jiefeng had enlisted the same year as Yunkai, and both were personally trained by Captain Sunday. Commander Gu asked him casually, "Do you remember why you joined the army?" Zhang Jiefeng's face visibly changed. His voice dropped. "To protect the country. To carry on my father's legacy." Something was clearly weighing on this man. Commander Gu told him to pack up. They were leaving on a mission in 1 hour. I also didn't know that Commander Gu had released Yunkai from confinement that morning. He'd been demoted 2 ranks as a preliminary punishment. Commander Gu needed Yunkai to feel safe and let his guard down, because Commander Gu was heading out to personally investigate the real circumstances of Captain Sun's death. Before leaving, he assigned a dark-skinned, stone-faced soldier named Xiao Qin and the woman Su Hui to protect me while he was gone. Xiao Qin heard my name, and his scalp itched. He hesitantly wished he could just let Su Hui handle it alone. They were both women. They'd get along better. He was bad at talking and never smiled. What if we got into a conflict? I had already become the person nobody wanted to deal with, but couldn't avoid. I didn't break any laws. Everything I said had evidence behind it, and I had an army of brothers and sisters backing me up. Even the commander personally ordered my protection. That's how much of a handful I was. How exactly should I protect her? Xiao Qin asked. Inside the compound, let her do whatever she wants. Outside the compound, keep her in your sight at all times. Especially when she's around Song Qian or Yang Yunkai. Even if she goes to the bathroom, Su Hui follows her. Understood. Commander Gu was thinking about his dream, how I'd somehow been tricked by Song Qian and kidnapped. This time he was going to make sure that never happened. I strolled to the supply store to buy gifts for Director Lu's family, malted milk powder, some pastries, and a bottle of Shifeng liquor since I couldn't get the paperwork from Maotai. Everything needed ration tickets in this era. Even city people only got 4 ounces of oil and 26 pounds of grain per month. Workers got slightly more at 30 pounds, but it still wasn't enough. Families with lots of kids tightened their belts every day, and when they couldn't stand it anymore, they'd sneak off to the black market. Grandma Lu scolded me warmly for spending money when she saw all my gifts. Director Lu's whole family was there, and everyone treated me wonderfully. His son and daughter were only 2 or 3 years older than me, and we hit it off right away. Auntie Lu made 6 dishes and a soup, braised ribs, stir-fried pork with peppers, vinegar cabbage, cured meat with folded ear root, cold fern salad, and peanuts, plus a big pot of fluffy, white rice. In this era, this was the most lavish meal you could serve a guest. Most people couldn't even dream of white rice, let alone multiple meat dishes. I got emotional saying goodbye. Grandma Lu, Uncle, Auntie, I'll write to you often. Maybe we'll see each other again sooner than you think. I was thinking about the college entrance exam that would be restored in a few years. Maybe their kids could end up in the same city as me someday. I left loaded down with cured meat and dried vegetables that Auntie Lu insisted I take. Once I turned a corner where nobody could see, I stuffed everything into my space. It was only 2 in the afternoon. Nothing to do back at the compound, so I decided to visit Song Qian's family home. In my last life, I knew exactly where it was because Yunkai was always sending me to the supply store to buy meat and deliver it to Song Qian's parents. Thinking back on it, I was so stupid and spineless. If it weren't for my incomplete soul, I would have slapped myself. I used my space's ability to move through walls and entered the house invisibly. And what did I see? That bastard Yang Yunkai was sitting at the table with Song Qian, eating together like husband and wife. 1 meat dish, 1 vegetable, all cozy and domestic. That lying dog Gu Zekin. I should never have trusted him. He told me he'd give me justice, but he was still protecting them.
Fine.
If he wouldn't deal with them, I'd do it myself. I'd destroy their reputations so thoroughly that they'd never recover. The embarrassment would be all theirs, never mine. I listened to their conversation from inside my space, and every word made my blood boil. Sister Song Qian, I'm sorry, Yunkai said. It's all Li Yuchu making trouble. She made you suffer. I heard she cursed at you and even endangered your pregnancy. When I go back, I'll drag her here to apologize to you on her knees. She's completely out of control. Song Qian shook her head gently, playing the understanding saint. Yunkai, it's all my fault. The organization arranged a place for me, but I insisted on staying at the compound. It has nothing to do with her. Yunkai looked even more impressed by her sweetness. You're too kind to her. She's been throwing tantrums for weeks. Breaking things was bad enough. Now she's hitting people and slandering us in front of the leaders. She needs to be taught a lesson. Song Qian's eyes glistened with tears that refused to fall. So delicate. So pitiful. Yunkai, I really don't know about the underwear. And the marks on my neck, I woke up and found them there. I got scared and covered them with a scarf. Yunkai felt both guilty and angry. Guilty because maybe he really did leave those marks while they were holding each other so tightly that night. Angry because he was sure the underwear arrangement was my doing. That Li Yuchu will stoop to anything. Sister, stay at your parents' house for a few days. After I send her away, I'll come get you. Captain Sun died saving me, so you and the baby are my responsibility from now on. Song Qian turned pale and shook her head frantically. Yunkai, you can't do that. Yuchu is your fiancé. Yunkai rushed to explain. I don't mean permanently. Just send her home for a while. After you have the baby safely, I'll bring her back to take care of you during your recovery period. With her causing scenes like this, your safety isn't guaranteed. I've already been demoted 2 ranks, so she's gotten her revenge. Let her go home and reflect on her behavior. Inside my space, I exploded. Go screw yourself. You think I'm some pushover? You two aren't worthy of me serving your damn recovery period. Though him getting demoted 2 ranks, that was satisfying news. Song Qian shook even harder. Yunkai, I've ruined you. You worked so hard to reach Deputy Battalion Commander, and you were about to be promoted. I'm so sorry. Yunkai's face showed his contempt for me.
Don't worry about it. She's obsessed with me.
She traveled 1,000 miles to marry me. I just need to say a few sweet words, and she'll do whatever I want. She's just throwing a tantrum right now. It'll pass. As for my demotion, once she realizes she was wrong, she'll move heaven and earth to get my rank back. The leaders only punish me because she made too big a scene. After things calm down, they'll promote me again. Song Qian tried to refuse once more, but Yunkai was firm. Listen to me. I can't let my savior's wife and child have nobody to depend on. After you give birth, Yuchu will take over your job while you recover. She'll stay home watching the baby, cleaning the house, and serving us. That sounds perfect. I watched from inside my space, fuming at their little plan to turn me into their servant. Then things got worse. Song Qian poured Yunkai a few drinks to lift his spirits after being locked up. He didn't refuse and even served her food in return like they were a married couple. After a while, Song Qian pressed her hand to her chest and frowned. Yunkai, I feel unwell. Can you take me to my room? Should we go to the hospital? She leaned against him. No, why waste the money? I'll be fine. Yunkai thought to himself how considerate and practical Song Qian was, so different from me. The tasteless shrew, one was heaven, the other was earth. Once inside her room, Song Qian asked him to check her back for injuries, claiming I had hurt her. She undid a few buttons. Then she started making soft sounds every time he pressed, driving this hot-blooded young man crazy. One thing led to another. The alcohol, the closeness, the sound she made. Yunkai lost all self-control. Song Qian guided every step with expert precision, playing reluctant while pulling him deeper. We shouldn't. Yuchu, don't mention her, Yunkai said, completely gone. He admitted he'd wanted her since that stormy night, and he couldn't hold back anymore. Song Qian whispered that she'd keep it secret. And just like that, they went at it like animals. I stood in my space watching the whole disgusting show. But instead of looking away, I pulled out my 21st century phone and started taking photos and recording video. Crystal clear footage, better quality than any movie. Their shameless, intoxicated expressions were something no actor could fake. This was my evidence. Solid, undeniable proof. Half an hour later, they lay there sweating and satisfied. Yunkai held Song Qian like she was the greatest treasure in the world. You're such a wonderful woman. Song Qian acted shy. If you want, come to me anytime. I'll take good care of you. The doctor said it's safe after 4 months. We can do this as much as you want. Yunkai was floating on clouds. How could such a perfect woman exist? Then Song Qian started her real performance. I regret meeting you so late. The first time I saw you at my house, I couldn't stop thinking about you. I couldn't sleep at night. Even when I was with Sun Yong, I imagined it was you. You're the only one I see. Yunkai nodded eagerly. His brain had turned to mush. I like you too. He explained that while my family had never actually helped his career, he still had to be careful because my clan was powerful. But he promised he wouldn't let Song Qian suffer. Song Qian nestled into his arms. We can be husband and wife without the title. But I feel bad about you, Chu. Be nicer to her. She's your fiancé. That opened the floodgates. Yunkai started trashing me without restraint. Fiancé? I'm sick of her. She's nothing compared to you. Back home, she bullied my mother and sister. Everyone says my family benefits from hers, but my dad's job as a work-point recorder is something anyone could do. The steel factory job she gave my sister was a leftover she didn't want. My sister had better options. I laughed coldly for my space. What an ungrateful liar. People would kill for those positions. His whole family should be shoveling manure for a living. That's what they deserved. Song Qian covered his mouth tenderly. Don't say that. I feel sorry for you. From now on, I'll make you feel like a real man every time. They started kissing again. Song Qian whispered, as long as we love each other, that's enough. I kept recording every second. Every word, every touch, every lie. When the time came, this footage would be their complete destruction. Yunkai was still going, telling Song Qian he'd find a way to get rid of me and marry her. His plan was to squeeze every last drop of value out of me first. If I behaved, maybe he'd give me a child, but only if I accepted Song Qian's existence. Meanwhile, he was fantasizing about what I'd look like begging underneath him, figuring if Song Qian could drive him this wild, someone as beautiful as me would make him never leave the bed. Song Qian noticed him getting distracted and easily pulled his attention back. A master manipulating a fool. Child's play. I couldn't listen to their filthy talk anymore. Fine, you two keep busy. I had my own work to do. I went to Song Qian's parents' room and searched everything. They only had a few yuan lying around. Something was off. Where was the real money? People in this era often had secret hiding spots. Maybe the Song family had one too. I pulled out my detector and scanned the room. Sure enough, a tunnel entrance under the bed. I went right in. Why would I be scared? I had my space. Nothing could touch me. And holy hell, I hit the jackpot. One room was packed with gold and silver jewelry. Take it all. Another room had antique paintings and calligraphy. Take it. A special wooden chest that looked like a priceless cultural relic. Definitely taking that. 3 rooms full of grain. Take. The last room had a small box with several savings books totaling over 30,000 yuan, plus about 1,000 in loose cash. Of course I took it all. This trip was absolutely worth it. I had explicit photos of Yunkai and Song Qian, and now I had a fortune in stolen goods. How the Song family got all this stuff wasn't my problem. They were doomed anyway. Did the reason even matter? I followed the tunnel to the other end. It came out in a small forest. There were drag marks everywhere. Clearly, they'd been moving things out but hadn't finished. I checked some nearby shacks with my detector but found nothing else. The rest had probably already been transferred somewhere. I headed back through the tunnel, but before I got far, I saw someone coming from the other direction. Song Qian. I jumped into my space immediately. Perfect. I'd see what other secrets she was hiding. Then I noticed something else. A trained, disguised figure was silently following her from behind. Was it one of Commander Gu's people? Or someone else entirely? I couldn't be sure, but it didn't matter. I'd learned that relying on myself was better than relying on anyone else. As long as this follower wasn't my enemy, I wouldn't interfere. Cousin, you're so bad. Those marks you left on my neck got me locked up for a whole day and night. I stared at the two people in front of me. It was Song Qian and Chai Laowu, the scarred, bald monster who killed me at the border in my last life. They really were cousins. And they were lovers too. So Song Qian's baby, that lucky little thing, was getting love from multiple men. The question was, whose child was it really? Chai Laowu traced his finger along Song Qian's neck with a wicked grin. Then let me leave marks somewhere else this time. Song Qian was 10 times more shameless with him than she'd been with Yunkai. They went at each other like they couldn't get enough. I glanced at the person hiding outside. Even they were frowning with disgust. After they finished their revolting business, they finally started talking about things that actually mattered. Cousin, will the baby be okay? Song Qian asked. Chai Laowu looked at her belly. My son will be strong. By the way, did you just sleep with that Yang Yunkai? Song Qian drew circles on his chest with her finger. I used that drug on him. He wouldn't have gone through with it otherwise. She drugged Yunkai. Of course she had. Cousin, Sun Eong is dead. Yunkai got demoted. I feel like I'm bad luck. Be more careful out there. And sell those goods soon. Having them in the house makes me nervous. Chai Laowu slapped her backside. Relax. After these last shipments, I'm going abroad to hide. You stay put beside Yunkai. Same rules. Gather whatever military information you can, but don't push too hard. Most important thing is getting our baby a clean household registration. Song Qian sounded hurt. You won't come back when the baby's born? I'll miss you. Chai Laowu held her close. Don't be stupid. I'm a smuggler, a drug dealer, a murderer, and a traitor. My parents were landlords. Giving our child a father with a clean background is better than anything I can offer. My entire bloodline depends on you. Song Qian went quiet, then brought up other women. Stop chasing girls. I heard the women in M country are all young and pretty. Chai Laowu pulled her closer. Nobody compares to you. We've been together secretly since we were 13. Only you deserve to carry my child. Song Qian touched the scars on his face, looking sad. Cousin, I hate them. They did this to you. So, what if we come from landlords? Those self-righteous people. I've been fooling every single one of them. Chai Laowu softened. Then show me how much you care. They went another round before Song Qian was finally satisfied. I recorded everything. Every word, every act. Now I knew the full truth. The baby was Chai Laowu's. Song Qian had drugged Yunkai. Chai Laowu was a smuggler, drug dealer, murderer, and traitor. Song Qian was his spy inside the military compound. This evidence would destroy them all completely. Song Qian asked Chai Laowu about the women in M country. He assured her they were just shared entertainment with his men. Nobody compared to her. Then Song Qian's voice turned cold and calculating. Cousin, Yunkai has a fiancé. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Perfect body, perfect face. Any man would want her. Chai Laowu's eyes lit up. Really? She's the one who got me locked up and slapped my face. Cousin, take her to M country. As long as she's around, Yunkai won't marry me. He said sweet things in bed, but that was just the drug talking. If Li Yuchu stays, he'll always choose her over me. Chai Laowu grabbed her chin. You want me to take her abroad and do whatever I want? You don't mind me having her? Jealousy flashed across Song Qian's face. Of course I mind. But she's in our way. You said you share women with your men anyway. Once she's across the border, let them have their fun. Better yet, make her sell her body every day. Chai Laowu agreed, but had concerns. How do we grab her? Yunkai is nothing, but their regiment commander Gu Zekin is dangerous. If he gets involved, we won't just fail. He'll come after us. Song Qian smiled wickedly. Don't worry. Commander Gu is away on a mission. And I'll help you. What if we... She laid out her plan. They'd kidnap both of us together. Since she was a martyr's pregnant widow, whoever came to rescue us would always choose her over me. Especially Yunkai. Even just to save face in front of others, he'd pick her. And she'd keep increasing the dose of whatever drug she was giving Yunkai until he was completely under her control. I watched from my space, nearly vomiting. So this was exactly how it happened in my last life. The same plan, the same trap, and they were going to do it again. Not this time. But Yunkai being drugged and tricked? He deserved it. A fly only lands on a cracked egg. And he wasn't innocent either. The way he enjoyed himself with Song Qian proved he had the same filth in his heart. A trained soldier should have noticed something was wrong. While those two were busy scheming, I used my space to explore the other rooms in the tunnel near the forest exit. My eyes nearly popped out of my head. An entire cellar of solid gold. Take it all. 2 boxes of rare, high-denomination banknotes, a huge box of nationwide ration tickets, 6 boxes of gold and silver jewelry. Take everything. Going deeper, I found 10 full boxes of antique paintings and calligraphy. Among them were 2 phoenix crowns that looked almost identical to the famous 9 Dragon 9 Phoenix and 12 Dragon 9 Phoenix crowns I'd seen in 21st century museums. They were absolutely stunning, though on closer inspection there were slight differences. Maybe ancient people made luxury knockoffs too? Even better, that meant less guilt for me. Take, take, take. When I got back to the compound, Yunkai was already home. He looked at me with cold hostility. All I could picture was him naked with Song Qian an hour ago. The contrast was unreal. "Where did you go?" he demanded. "None of your damn business. Move." "Li Yuchu, look at yourself. Aren't you afraid of disgracing your grandfather and your family?" I slapped him without a word. "Disgusting. Next time I'd use a wooden board." "You hit me again? You really think I won't hit back?" He was fantasizing about strangling me. In his mind, Song Qian was so much better, obedient, eager to please, while I was covered in thorns like a hedgehog. "Shut up and pay me back my money." That made him even angrier. "You have the nerve to talk about money? Did you steal our savings books?" I could sense people crowding at the doorway to eavesdrop, so I raised my voice on purpose. "Who did you just call, Qian? So affectionate. Guess you two aren't even pretending anymore." "Impressive." He took a deep breath. "It's just a name. Stop being crazy. If you keep this up, we're breaking off the engagement." He was bluffing, of course. He was sure I'd never agree. "Deal. Whoever takes it back is a turtle bastard." His brain froze. Did I actually understand what he'd said? "Li Yuchu, I said we're ending the engagement. Obviously. Unlike you, I'm not deaf, blind, and stupid all at once." Laughter erupted from the doorway. I walked over and threw the gate wide open. "Everyone, come inside." Watching from the door isn't as fun. The usual chorus of busybody women started up. "Li girl, fighting like this isn't the answer. Talk it out. There must be a misunderstanding. The leaders already gave you special treatment because of your family." My ears were callous from hearing this garbage. "Shut up, all of you. First, Yang Yunkai isn't a deputy battalion commander anymore. Don't use the wrong title. Second, if nothing happened, would the leaders demote him 2 ranks? Stop saying misunderstanding. Go let your own husband spend the night with another woman and see if you still call it a misunderstanding. And this idiot accused me of stealing their savings books. You all saw me search the place. I found nothing. Are you all deaf, blind, and brainless like him?" Behind the crowd, Su Hui nudged Xiaoqin. "This girl is fierce. Taking on the whole compound single-handedly. She's a tough one." Xiaoqin watched with dread. "Our mission is to protect her from getting beaten up." Su Hui glanced at him. "Doesn't that include helping her argue?" Xiaoqin wanted to cry. Did Commander Gu predict that I'd be fighting the entire compound and sent them to make sure I survived? One of Song Qian's allies, Auntie Lu, spoke up. "Li Yuchu, we're trying to help you. How will you ever find a husband being this aggressive?" I looked her up and down with an eye roll. "Mind your own business. Instead of worrying about my marriage, go wash your hair. There are lice crawling toward your eyeballs." "Oh my God. One just jumped to the woman next to you. Quick, catch it." I smacked the woman's head before she could react. "Hurry, get the lice. Right there. Quick, quick." The whole place turned into chaos. Lice are a nightmare. They spread fast, they're hard to get rid of, and they waste precious shampoo. Everyone started slapping each other's heads and backs, and within seconds they were all arguing with each other instead of ganging up on me. I stood with my arms crossed, enjoying the show. Yunkai watched the scene and shook with rage. You what? Are you a stutter now too? Wow, you really have the full set of problems. You're outrageous. Who's the outrageous one calling outrageous? I'm calling you outrageous. Oh, so the outrageous person is calling me outrageous. Let me write this down. Yang, former deputy company commander, admits he's outrageous. Su Hui raised an eyebrow from behind the crowd. This girl truly had the talent to anger people to death. Then Commissar Chi marched in with several people. What's all this commotion? I quickly sprayed some tear solution on my face. Commissar Chi, they're trying to kill me. Just because I said the leaders were fair, and just in demoting Yang Yunkai, they started saying the leaders were biased and playing favorites. They even said the leaders were blind and corrupt. And they put lice on me. Some people tried to help me, and that's when the fighting started. Everyone almost choked.
Who said any of that?
Well, they had been thinking it, but nobody said it out loud. The commissar's face turned dark. This wasn't a family compound anymore. It was a circus. Auntie Lu tried to explain. Commissar, we came to help settle things. Li Yuchu was. Before she could finish, I burst into tears, crying beautifully like rain on pear blossoms. Commissar, it was her. I don't know what I did to offend her. Look at my arms. She scratched me until I bled. Is she trying to kill me to shut me up? And that one in white too. The woman in white froze. She'd never even touched me. Everyone stared at the bloody scratch marks on my pale arms. They clearly looked like fingernail scratches from a woman. Who started the violence? The commissar demanded. Nobody dared speak. I cried harder. Commissar, I know you all don't want me here. I understand why these women follow the wind. You don't have to put on an act for me, I don't need it. But you know who does enjoy a good show? My grandfather. Last time I told him how his story of leading a few hundred soldiers against thousands of enemy troops got written into a book, he was so happy. Dead silence. Everyone went pale. Forget my brothers and sisters, I'd brought out the nuclear weapon. My war hero grandfather himself. The commissar's temples started throbbing. If that old man got involved, they'd all drown in spit. They'd never show their faces again. Literally, don't be upset. I'll make them apologize. I cried even louder. Apologizing doesn't matter. What scares me is that these people clearly have problems with the leadership. They keep saying the leaders are biased and unfair. If this keeps going, what if enemy agents take advantage of the situation? Damaging military-civilian unity would be bad enough, but leaking military secrets would be a disaster. That made Auntie Lu and her crew scream in panic. You're lying. We're family members. Stop putting labels on us. This is slander. I laughed coldly inside. Song Qian herself was dirty. Who knew how much information these women had unknowingly fed her? The person following Song Qian had probably already reported back. Even if they weren't military, I had my own evidence. These women had better behave. Besides, they all bullied me in my last life alongside Song Qian. I wasn't a saint who forgives and forgets. Auntie Lu, don't be so sure of yourself. Song Qian and Yunkai spending the night together is fact, right? Even if it's a misunderstanding, their behavior was improper. They should have avoided suspicion. What if she's involved in other illegal activities? Would you personally guarantee her innocence? I gave her a look of pure contempt that made everyone want to punch me. Auntie Lu's brain overheated. What wouldn't I dare? Song Qian is kind-hearted. Everything is just a misunderstanding. She's always been good to us. Nothing like your bullying. I clapped and gave her a thumbs up. Birds of a feather. What loyalty. Commissar, you heard her. This Auntie Lu just pledged her personal reputation to guarantee Song Qian is a good person. The commissar frowned. I noticed a soldier behind him flash a quick glance at Auntie Lu. It was brief, but I caught it. My instincts confirmed what I suspected. The commissar and that soldier already knew about Song Qian's crimes. The person following her was definitely sent by Commander Gu. Maybe I'd cursed him too soon. Auntie Lu realized she'd said too much, but she doubled down. Song Qian gave her things, bought candy for her kids, even knitted sweaters.